is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise. We see them as something like the founding fathers, grave and gray-haired. But most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. We owe them a debt we can never repay. All we can do is remember them, what they did, and why they had to be brave for us.
Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Welcome to episode number 52 of the Dragon's Den podcast. We're live on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter. We're all over, or X, whatever you want to call it these days. Joined tonight by Matthew 24, Go Team Pinsky on the top right, Sir Spoopington the third, Mr. Get Some on the bottom left, and Miranda Nicole 84 on the bottom right. And my name is Eric Hopkins, aka Jill. Definitely honor the fall of this weekend as we remember those who have served us here in the United States, and of course those who have fallen as well. So absolutely. So how's everybody doing this weekend?
Not bad, Jim.
Doing great.
Well, all things.
Yeah, happy to have a 3-day weekend, but obviously the reasonings why we have the 3-day weekend is definitely heavy on the heart for sure. But we hope to honor those who followed for us this week with this broadcast, as well as we're going to the Indy 500 tomorrow. Yay! We're going to go watch a race tomorrow.
Yay.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that.
I just want to say real quick.
Huh?
About a half hour ago, I was making this shirt to wear tomorrow. I'm gonna take it off, but it's. Can you see what it is?
It's kind of choppy at the moment. Oh, nice Punisher.
Well, it's the Trump hair Punisher.
Oh, even better.
So
yeah, see it now. That's pretty cool.
All right. Yeah.
You gonna wear that? You said you're gonna wear something like that tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty dope.
Wait till you see
probably...
the shirt that I got for tomorrow.
Interesting.
Yeah, Brandon's is
Can't wait.
awesome.
A surprise.
Well, Matt, we know yours is racing related for certain.
It is racing related.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It is
He was like
racing
wearing like
related.
certain drivers like like I don't know. What they're not jerseys. What would you call them? Like
They are pit shirts.
pit shirts. Okay. And like it seemed like everybody he was wearing, it felt like they were all getting like penalized for rule breaking or
That's right.
something. It's like he
Guidelines.
was jinxing everybody he was
Wow.
wearing.
Everybody has
Oh,
to
geez, he was
survive
cursing
the
them.
games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
Mike's in the chat already. He said, "Happy turn left without a turn signal weekend." Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
So
right.
happy to have you with us again, Mike, as always. Thank you for tuning in. So yeah, and Miranda just disappeared, but I guess she'll be back in just a second. But anyway,
Yes.
so
She wanted to show the shirt off, and then she's gonna take it off and change her
oh,
shirt.
I got you. Sweet. Yeah, I missed that part. But anyway, so yeah, we got like I said, so going to the race tomorrow. A lot of us we want to get off this show by midnight tonight, so we're probably going to get right into things here before too long. But I didn't know if Brandon wanted to kind of talk about his day or not. He was kind of going on.
Oh
about
my God!
Adulting stuff.
Don't encourage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today was probably one of no, yeah, it was. It was a shit day for me. Like,
Yeah.
so about like last weekend, my tractor threw the belt. So I took the deck off, realized that belt looked like it's been ran through a fucking wood chipper. It was bad. So I'm like, all right, I need
It
to
was
do
bad.
So got off of work Friday morning, hung out with the wife, did some shit. We stopped off at the place that we got the mower from. I bought a new belt, $60. Took the blades to a buddy's house because he was going to sharpen them for us. But while we were out, we were like, screw it. Let's just go to the actual John Deere store. They had blades. And I went and bought a 3-pack of blades there. And I asked the guy while we were there how much a belt would cost for this mower. And he told me about $20 cheaper than what I fucking paid for at this other place. Whatever. You got me out of $20.
Plus,
Plus?
we could have got 15% off.
Oh, plus 15% off. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So today a buddy of
Whole
mine
thing.
came over and he was gonna help me put the belt on. So I'm like, bet, cool, let's get it. So he comes over, we put the belt, we take the new belt that I just bought. I put the blades on. I made sure they were screwed down tight because Lord knows, the last thing I needed was a blade to fly off. We go to put the belt on, it doesn't fit. It's about 1.5 feet too big. And I'm like, why? Why? Why would you upsell me on a belt and then it's the wrong fucking size? The thing is, I gave you all the correct information that you needed to have the right
But what
size.
happened was, no, there is an old man running this entire store. It is probably like half the size of the warehouse, this building. Okay. With lawnmowers parked all over. You can barely walk through this place because there is so much equipment there. This one old man, he knows where everything is. This lady come in for bolts for her blades, and he told the little dweeb that was working for him right where to find them, down on the end cap past, these other bolts. So he had to get up.
He just
Looking for our belt in the book, in the catalog. And he says, hey, come here and take over. I'm right here. I know it's got to be in this area somewhere. Find their belt. Well, this little asshole found us the wrong belt.
So I went to call them today to tell them, see if I can just exchange one size for another. They were fucking closed, obviously. So a couple minutes later, we get a hold of a place downtown. They have belts. We go down there. We're in there for like 10, 15 minutes with the old belt trying to size other belts.
Oh, no.
And the lady there, super sweet lady. I wish I would have got her name. She was super helpful. We went through like 3 or 4 different ones before we was like, you know what? This one looks like it'll fit. So we bring it back, go to put it on and realize there's no diagram to show us how to put it on. So I'm like, YouTube's your friend in this instance. I searched for a half an hour for every it had every deck but mine.
This is way worse than the computer debacle.
Yeah.
Way worse.
I go to like the last video from like 6 years ago where this guy had my deck and he was taking the belt off and he shows how it's supposed to be done. So we finally find a video. I put the belt on and it doesn't fit at first, like it's too small. Well, we didn't realize you have to engage or you have to pull the tension bar forward. So realize that the tension bar is not pulled forward. I pull the tension bar forward. Boom, the belt slides on just fucking fine. Then we go to slide it under the damn mower and the wheels, because I had to lower the damn thing all the way to the ground, the wheels are not letting me put it back on correctly. So I'm fighting this thing for another 10 to 15 fucking minutes. Finally, everything slots into place. But then guess what happens? The other belt that goes on the top that spins the whole fucking thing doesn't want to stretch. That's because it's caught behind one of the bars, and I didn't notice it was caught behind one of the bars after I hooked everything up. So that meant I had to unhook every fucking thing we just did. Oh, sweet
I didn't
Jesus.
know about all this, and I am so
I-
glad I wasn't.
I feel for you, brother.
Finally got everything hooked up.
This
I
sounds
turned it
cool.
on, pulled the motor out, had a flat fucking tire. I was like, if
Oh,
one
my
other thing happens today, I'm gonna fucking snap.
You need tomorrow's race just to chill
Yeah.
for a while. You need a day off. Like, man.
I got the tire pumped up. Finally was able to cut my grass so it doesn't look like a jungle. Well, it still does because the axle is, or the transmission's fucked. So it doesn't go uphill. Listen, my yard's cut.
We have
I
a
don't,
plan.
I don't care. It's done. It's over with.
Everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
Yeah.
Which is sounds
Like
like,
I did.
sounds like
Repeatedly.
Brandon got hit with a couple jabs and maybe a right hook, and jeez,
Yeah.
man.
I was so fucking mad. But
Oh,
I
feel
got
for
it
you.
done. I'm over it. I can
Time to
be
move on.
happy now. Yeah.
He can be happy now. All right,
That
well, let's
was
see if we
my
can.
day today.
Let's see if we can bring him some joy with some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. But before we get into the topics here, Mike said, "BY." I think he means by the way. By the way, in the opening pictures of the new stream starting video I put up there, there's one with a coffee cup that says Trump 2028 on it. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I hope that's just for fun, since you should know he can't run for president. Absolutely, we know that is 100% a joke. It's because Steve Bannon come out and said that they want Trump to run for in 2028. So ever since this whole story came out, Donald Trump's kind of been going around, kind of poking fun with it because the liberal media and stuff's going crazy. Oh my God, it's against the Constitution. He's going to run for president again. President Trump flat out said he's not going to run for a third term. So people on the right, people like MAGA supporters and Trump supporters, are kind of using Trump 2028 just to kind of poke fun at people who are freaking out about that sort of thing. So that's why the coffee cup's in the picture. It's just a joke.
First of all,
So
that was really nice. That was really cool.
Yeah,
the
you like
only
that?
thing I would say was you could put like a little sticker of like a Steelers helmet like on the glass window. Or
I'm thinking about
Like-
maybe adding a few things here and there if I
I
can.
felt bad because I looked at all the stuff in there. I'm like, oh yeah, it's all relative. And I'm like, there's nothing to what I mean?
Well, I was trying to figure out maybe I put some Steelers stuff maybe in there. Might throw a Yankee jersey or something, maybe a golf
No, don't
club
do that.
hat.
Man, don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't
that'd
know.
be great,
I'm
man.
thinking about maybe I'm adding a little
Yeah.
in there.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God, Eric,
you can
how
thank
about me?
ChatGPT because that's where a lot of that came from. Which, by the way,
That
is
was
not.
really-
Real
that was
quick
really-
on Mike's question,
Mhm.
Mike, we've got Don Jr., we've got Barron, we've got
Yeah.
Eric, we've got Laura, we've got all the Trump.
be-
So we could have
we'd be
Trump
fine.
2099.
Yeah, he's got 11 grandkids. I mean,
Yeah,
just
we'll be
saying,
fine.
Yeah.
Trump can be president for a long time, just not Donald Trump. I agree. But yes, that's totally a joke. So but yeah, that was the weird thing too. I was putting some of that stuff in Chat GPT and tried to turn it into a video. Some of them I had to get a little creative with because I kid you not, that AI is not the greatest. It'll add extra legs and arms. It tried to take the numbers on the cup and the clock and make it change. It was ridiculously difficult. Stupid.
Sounds like Brandon.
I got to go get the dogs real quick, but I have an AI story to bring up to you guys about. I don't know what program it is, but John from Badlands was messing with it yesterday. You can make a whole damn movie. So
Oh,
the
really?
warehouse could be a thing.
Wow.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
I'll show you the
Yeah, go
videos
for it.
later.
Uh-huh.
It was total look real.
Exactly.
Cool. All right.
Yeah,
I wanna
that'd
see
be pretty dope. And I hear that Google VO3 is coming out. Looks really, really, really good for AI. That may replace anything ChatGPT's got going on over there. Mike said in chat, as long as they're at least 35, they can run. Indeed, absolutely. So yeah, we can have all sorts of Trumps and stuff running around here. But if I'm a betting man, before we get to the politics stuff later, I think JD Vance may be the guy for 2028 right now. Maybe
Yes.
Mark Rubio.
Mhm.
We'll have to wait and see how things
Either
go.
or.
But yeah. So yeah, but no, it's just for fun. So everybody, yeah, I may have to answer that question for newcomers as well. But I just thought that was kind of cool to throw in there as a joke. So all right, well, we'll let Miranda go do that.
Wrestling.
Did you want to tell the AI story now, or?
Well, I really don't have. I would like to show you the video, but I don't have the timestamps of it. So
Okay.
I thought I was gonna have to go get the dogs. They were barking. I don't
Okay.
know if they're out there or not. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go check
Well,
real quick.
All All right. Well, we'll move on while you do that, and we'll come back to the AI story if she wants to talk about it here in a little while. But well, before we do that, let's just go ahead and get into some of these topics so we get the show rolling. Let's get into the pro wrestling. All right, we ain't got a whole lot in the way of pro wrestling this week, but a couple little news items I did want to touch on. And the first thing I wanted to touch on, of course, was the big news that apparently WrestleMania 42 will not be in New Orleans after all, despite Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announcing it on SmackDown earlier this year. As a consolation prize, New Orleans is getting Money in the Bank next year in 2026, though. It appears Las Vegas is going to be getting 2 WrestleManias in a row, as they had WrestleMania this year and potentially 2026 as well. It's not officially been announced yet, but per reports, the decision to have WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas instead of New Orleans was made partially because this year's WrestleMania made so much more money overall in Vegas, and they could not make that level of money in New Orleans. The plan is now to run WrestleMania on a regular basis in Las Vegas, not necessarily every year, but very frequently. The idea is that the city wants to have a major destination sports event every year, and by definition, they are looking at the Super Bowl, the Final Four, the College Football National Championship finals, and WrestleMania to hold annually in the Sin City there or whatever. So I don't know about you guys. I wasn't thrilled when I heard this because, for one, Indianapolis is supposed to be getting another WrestleMania at some point soon.
Mhm.
What kind of monkey wrench does that throw into those plans? If they're already backing out on cities they already announced, that plus it's kind of a part of the fun is a different city hosting it all the time. Now, I understand back at WrestleMania 4 and 5, it was hosted at Trump Plaza 2 years
I
in a
think
row.
that sucks.
Well, I mean, it has happened before at least once with Trump Plaza and Atlantic City hosting it twice way back in the 80s. But in recent years, and granted, it does go back to cities like New Orleans frequently as well, because it's been in New Orleans before too.
Mhm.
But to go back to back in a year or in the same city, plus having plans to eventually go back to Las Vegas very frequently, like maybe not every year, but every other year or something, just for money reasons. I wasn't a fan of that announcement. What was your guys' thoughts on it?
I mean,
I think
end
it
of the day,
sucks.
it's
Vegas is
business.
far
And
away.
it sucks for certain,
But-
cities, but it's a business nonetheless. And this was
And
Gotta
there's
go
a
with the
lot
money.
of there's so much more accommodating to tourists and stuff in Vegas.
mhm.
Indy gets so congested and full.
Mhm.
Like, I can understand why you'd want a major city to be your hotspot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it sucks for fans not wanting to travel.
I've been hearing Las Vegas has kind of had some issues with tourism a lot as of late too. So it's something that the city's trying to do to draw people back to one of the biggest tourist cities in the country. So
Yeah.
I mean,
And they put a lot of money into it. Look at Indy. Like, parts, you turn a corner and you've got parts falling down. Now, the crime rate in Vegas is high too,
Mhm.
but maybe it'll come with the change and everything else.
And from
Yeah.
WWE's perspective, if you're willing to pay them more, of course they're going to listen to you. I get
Yeah.
that too. That's part of the
Mhm.
business
this thing
aspect
too,
of it.
TKO is like, you can get mad at Triple H if you want to, but at the end of the day, I don't think he has much say so as you would believe in this part of it.
No, I
It's
don't think so
more
either.
a Nick Khan and TKO decision.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a business decision. And if TKO is primarily ran out of Vegas any fucking way, I mean, that's where most of the UFC fights are held.
Yeah, that was part of the decision as well. And I also read somewhere that apparently Nick Khan is actually from Las Vegas. So that maybe played a bit of a factor there as well. But yeah, the TKO brand with the UFC, as you just mentioned, that is probably one of the bigger reasons right there for certain. But yeah, Mike says, my worry is that if they pulled out of New Orleans, who's to say they won't pull out of Indy? Exactly. They
Yeah.
say what you want about Vince McMahon. As soon as he announced the city for WrestleMania, he wasn't going to back out on it. So whoever made this decision definitely did something Vince McMahon never would have done. So yeah, I mean that is a concern. Now, speaking of Indianapolis and WrestleMania, though, I'll say this though: the Las Vegas WrestleManias from WrestleMania 9 and WrestleMania 41 here are not considered to be the best WrestleManias in the history of WrestleMania for sure. Even though I didn't mind WrestleMania 9 as much, but there was a lot of controversy with the way the show ended, much like with the John Cena and Cody Rhodes finish from WrestleMania 41 this year. But it's almost like the third time, maybe hopefully is the charm for WrestleMania 42. But if WrestleMania is going to give us the quality that they gave us at this year's WrestleMania in Indianapolis, I have a hard time justifying $1,000, $2,000 for nosebleed tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I may or may not actually go to that WrestleMania whenever it does come to Indy, if we continue to get that type of WrestleMania we got this year. Now, if it was like WrestleMania 40 with the main event, that's a totally different story. But I would say half of WrestleMania this year was decent.
You're being overcharged.
Well, that's another thing too. But again, it goes to the business aspect of it. If people are willing to pay it, they're going to charge it. So you can't begrudge them of that. But that does not mean I've got to pay it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that means I ain't got to pay the shit. But at the same time, if people are willing to pay it, then that's what they're going to charge you. That's with anything. Like, again, a business decision. Like, it sucks, but.
Yeah, I mean, it does appear that Lucas Oil Stadium will probably still be hosting SummerSlam. And I'm sure that, again, this is speculation on our part. It sounds like WrestleMania will still be coming to Indy at some point, because even Triple H made in the announcement when it comes to the New Orleans thing not going through this next year. They did say that they were going to be coming back to New Orleans for WrestleMania for some time in the future. It just is not going to be next year. So it doesn't mean it's going to be in Las Vegas every year. But yeah, if I just don't know if, I mean, I get the business side of it, but prioritizing one city over all these others doesn't feel great to me, but you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but that is the deal. And yeah, it just sucks for those fans of New Orleans who are looking forward to it, who are now getting Money in the Bank, which is a great pay-per-view in and of itself. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of them may feel a little bit slighted for that. And they may let you hear it.
Fans won't come in New Orleans.
Oh, they'll still go.
Yeah, they
I'm
will.
sure.
They'll
come. Yeah, it is probably the third or fourth biggest pay-per-view of the year, Money in the Bank. So maybe fifth, but it's definitely in the top 5. So yeah, they'll definitely go see it. But yeah, it just kind of sucks for them. Any other thoughts on WWE? And
no,
it sucks, but you know,
business aspects of it. The dark side of the ring, as it were. I know Mike's a big fan of that series for sure. I'm assuming that season is probably over now, isn't it, Mike? You have to let us know in the chat. But yeah, as for the other company, this week, obviously Saturday night's main event is currently going on. If you're interested in WWE, and then of course we'll talk about AEW in just a second. But AEW, Darby Allin. For those of you who know Darby Allin and AEW, apparently reached the summit of Mount Everest this last week. He was going to climb Mount Everest last year, but ended up breaking his leg. And this year he finally got to do it. And yeah, he's posting pictures and planting flags up there at the summit of Mount Everest. So thoughts on this big achievement for him? The first pro wrestler in history to climb Mount Everest, as a matter of fact.
Kudos to him. Like I couldn't have done it. Like,
I wouldn't want to do it.
No, I mean, I'm not climbing anything that ends in Everest or Killaman. You know what I'm saying?
Yesterday we heard a story about Mount Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Out in
what?
It's some kind of. It was where Alpha went to boot camp.
Go to it's like part of their boot camp thing. Like they have to climb this fucking mountain, and they call it Mount Motherfucker because apparently the devil lived up there.
Either that, they all just say it as they're climbing it. One of the two.
Oh, righty then.
It just lets me know that this shit ain't easy, and I don't want no part of it. Again, I'm not climbing anything higher than a hill or a speed bump. You can kiss my ass.
But I did find it cool that Darby Allin made a promise back when he announced he was going to climb that he was going to plant the AEW flag up there. So he did do just that. So that is really cool. I don't know if he left it up there or anything like that.
We're going to need content.
I think so. I mean, regardless of the fact of anything, like climbing that mountain, the amount of people that have died trying to do that is crazy.
In the snow, like why?
It is freezing cold up there too.
Yeah.
So like the fact that he did it, kudos.
So this led a lot of people speculate. Yeah. This led a lot of people to speculate that WWE will want to one-up them and send Triple H to the moon and plant the flag
Yes.
there. So, you know,
They sent Katy Perry to the space so he can send.
he didn't send Katy Perry. And then, of course, that means Tony Khan will have to go to Mars and plant a flag there with Elon.
Yeah, you'll
So,
believe anything, won't you, buddy?
Oh, anything they say.
so, yeah. That by the way, that AI image of Tony Khan is
That's
out of whack,
hilarious.
man.
Oh, that's
Why is
hilarious.
his hair? Why is his head that big? That's crazy.
Because it's
terrible.
AI.
It's AI, yeah. Nothing's right
His
with it.
head is
Hey, you can't even read the word wrestling under AEW there.
his
know.
head is ginormous, by the way.
They were also showing videos last night of AI just a few years ago and how
Mhm.
bad it was
Oh yeah.
compared to now. Like
Mhm.
pretty soon, I don't know if
Well-
actors are going to have jobs.
Well, like I said, that Google VO3 or whatever that just come out, I was watching some videos from that. You can't really tell what's real and what's not. So my concern with that is, when do we start seeing stuff that they say, oh, this is what Donald Trump said, but he didn't actually say it, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Both
Well,
sides,
no,
whatever.
I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that they're going to come out with some kind of watermark for
Yeah, I
AI
was just
that
thinking
cannot
same
be
thing.
undone.
Mhm.
You have to, like,
Yeah.
you're going to have to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do something to negate that, no doubt about it. Mike said the Dark Side of the Ring season finale is this Tuesday, as a matter of fact, and will be on Muhammad Hassan. So there you go. Have to check
Oh,
that out.
really?
No doubt about it. I know Mike's a big proponent of that series, no doubt. And I like it too. I just haven't watched as much of it as I should. But Darby Allin, while he was on the mountain, also gave up the symbol for the Diamond Cutter to give a shout out to Diamond Dallas Page, because apparently Darby Allin said, I didn't know about mountains and was going to go to this low rent place where I Googled how to climb Mount Everest years ago. And DDP said, F that, and put me in touch with the right people to do this journey the right way. So thank you, Diamond Dallas
Good on
Page.
DDP.
And he's all over the place, man, doing good stuff for the world out there. I got to give him some credit. But yeah, so that is very cool. Any other thoughts on Darby Allin?
Yeah, congratulations. You know, like I said, I couldn't have done it. So
No, I wouldn't want to do it either. No desire really to do it either. But I ain't gonna lie, some of the videos he was putting out, it was really cool to see from that, point of view, as it were. So
yeah, it looks cool, but I'm
no. I mean, look at that. He's above the cloud line. I mean, that is
he got it.
That's insane. And he was also doing like trick flips and stuff on his skateboard on the mountain. So it'd be like
Okay.
again, he's probably the only person who's ever done one up there, stuff like that. So it was pretty dope to see. But definitely looking forward to seeing Darby Allin back in AEW at some point soon too. I think they have officially pretty well climbed down at this point. I know they were on their way back and stuff, so hopefully he'll have safe travels on the way back down as well. So
Yes, please.
good to see, no doubt about it. But speaking of AEW, we went over Saturday night's main event last week to prepare for this Saturday show. Well, tomorrow on Sunday night, following the Indy 500, if you guys are watching that, AEW has one of their annual pay-per-views called Double or Nothing is next, and it is one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year. And we've got 8 big matches set for that card. We've got the Hurt Syndicate defending their AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Sons of Texas, Sammy Guevara and Sons of Texas, Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. We've also got the finals of the men's Owen Hart Cup Foundation Tournament, Will Ospreay versus Adam Hangman Page, which will determine who will face the AEW World Champion at AEW All In. We also got a stretcher match with Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe. We got an AEW Women's World Championship match, Toni Storm defending her title against Mina Shirakawa. Best friends forced to do battle in that one. We've also got the finals of the women's Owen Hart Cup Tournament, Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter to determine who will face Toni Storm at All In. And we also got Kazuchika Okada defending the Continental Championship against Speedball Mike Bailey. We got Nigel McGuinness returning to the ring with Daniel Garcia versus FTR. And, of course, Anarchy in the Arena with Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, and the Ops featuring Samoa Joe, Katsuhiro Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs, along with Willow Nightingale versus the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. That's a mouthful. But what are your thoughts on this pay-per-view? What's your most anticipated match, and who do you think's going to win this? I'm looking forward to Ospreay and Hangman. I'm not going to lie to you. That's going to be dope.
Yeah, I think Ospreay and Hangman, and besides the Anarchy in the Arena match, I don't know.
I like the Sons of Texas.
They're
Like that
really.
name.
That is the
I wish
best
Mark.
match
I wish Mark would get more of a push. Mark Briscoe is very
Texas.
entertaining. And he can still fucking wrestle.
A stretcher match with Ricochet could be interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, you're probably right. I'd say Ricochet probably wins that one. You know, just kind of furthering his push, no doubt.
The Hurt Syndicate, like I don't see them losing.
No, not just yet. They've got something going on with MJF in that storyline. I'm not sure exactly where that's going just yet, but he just officially joined this last week on Dynamite. So we'll see how MJF plays into that potential matchup as well. Yeah, so I mean, I think Tony Storm probably retains there against Mina Shirakawa. I don't know who's going to win the women's tournament final to face Tony Storm. I'm assuming Mercedes Moné, but I wouldn't mind to see Jamie Hayter as well win that matchup for certain. But it sounds like Moné and Timeless Tony Storm is one of the main events for All In. Kazuchika Okada, I got a feeling they're setting up Kazuchika Okada and Omega to merge the Continental title and the international title in AEW together at AEW All In. So I expect that to probably be the thing there too. FTR probably. Well, I don't know. Nigel and Dan, I would assume that FTR will continue to roll. I think eventually the plan is maybe when Adam Copeland returns, maybe to eventually turn Christian Cage babyface to go up against FTR, Edge and Christian back together potentially. That could be a thing. As for Anarchy in the Arena, I mean, this could go either way, I suppose. I don't know. How do you think this is going to go between these two teams? I mean, Moxley's obviously the champion, and the title's not on the line here at all. But interesting they threw the two ladies in there for the first time ever in AEW to have them in this Anarchy in the Arena match. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Swerve, this could go either way, to be quite honest with you. Same with Ospreay and Hangman.
I have a wrestling-related question.
What's that?
So this may sound stupid and dumb, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. When you are in a tag team and you hold an individual title belt, if that tag team loses in that tag team match, can you lose that title belt?
No.
Okay.
It's a separate thing. You would compete singles to lose.
I was just curious because I see these matches all the time where they hold individual titles, but they don't lose them, and I was like wondering why.
Yeah, because those titles are not on the line in the tag match. So
it would have to be a one-on-one.
Yes. Yeah. Unless designated otherwise. There have been times where, like, all right, we're in a tag match. If you lose this match, you also lose that title. But that has to be specifically determined. But yeah. So yeah. I don't know.
Curious. Sorry.
To me, the three biggest matches on this card are Ospreay and Hangman, Moné and Hayter, and the Anarchy in the Arena. And all three, in my opinion, could go either way, even though I think Moné is definitely winning. I think Ospreay is going to win. Go ahead.
I was gonna say with the whole Moné thing, like until she loses, I'm not gonna believe she's gonna lose. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm still mad that Tony Khan and AEW had Billy Starks and Athena come up from Ring of Honor for Mercedes Moné to beat both of them, and they both just went back to Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
I hated that. It's like, all right, you're bringing up Athena. She should have been the one to beat Moné. She wasn't, and if you beat her, fine, but then have her eventually beat Moné, I'm fine with a little more, but you just put them right back on Ring of Honor. It's like, what was the point to bring up your biggest draw on Ring of Honor and the women's side to have her get beat and just put her back on Ring of Honor? I hated that. Yeah. Bad booking, in my opinion. But hopefully it doesn't kill their momentum, but it wasn't good. So maybe one day we'll get that rematch down the line. But yeah, I guess if I had to make a pick, though, I think Ospreay is winning and going on to face Moxley. And they're already talking about Forbidden Door is in London later this year. So Ospreay holding the title going into that show would be what I think the plan would be. As for Anarchy in the Arena, it doesn't really matter overall, I don't think, for the grand storyline of things to have either side win. But I'd probably put the baby faces over just for the heck of it. Why not? Any other thoughts?
No, other than, like I said, I don't see. I mean, I don't know if this whole thing with the Death Riders, like, and Moxley in this title.
And now they've introduced Gabe Kidd into the mix as well. So Gabe Kidd and obviously, Kenny Omega and that whole thing, they've got some history there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly where that's going. I think once Mox loses the title, then it's going to kind of be a break apart, in my opinion. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I know Ospreay's been talking about that big gold, beautiful belt. And don't be wrong, Hangman versus Mox would be great, but we've seen it. So
beautiful gold belt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the big, beautiful bill. But yeah, for sure. But anyway, I think it'll be a good show. I probably won't watch the show till Monday, though, because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm going to be dead tired after the race. I always am. It takes it out of you for sure, especially getting up early in the morning to go do it for sure. But yeah.
Yes.
Mike said in the chat, anyone watch Saturday night's main event? Not yet. Again, it's another one of those I may have to catch up on Monday. Just watched the main event, but didn't see the rest of the show. So yeah, I hadn't seen it yet, but I kind of expected to kind of go the way we talked about last week a little bit. I am interested to see R-Truth versus John Cena though. See how that goes.
Yeah.
Especially since it's I guess non-title. But I guess I saw someone on X talking about how maybe R-Truth thought to somehow win the match with like interference from Orton or somebody, and then R-Truth act like he won the title, but he doesn't realize it was non-title.
Oh,
he has to give it. Wouldn't that be something? So I don't know if they'll do it, but never say never for sure. Yeah. So any other thoughts on pro wrestling? Nope. Not a whole lot happening in pro wrestling. It's kind of that lull period. Other than AEW, they're starting to build up toward their biggest show of the year in July. And hopefully WWE can start to pick things up as they head into their Money in the Bank pay-per-view, I think, coming up in a couple weeks as well. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
Maybe next. When is that? Is that on June 7th?
Next
that
week.
is. If that's the case, we'll be previewing Money in the Bank next week.
Yes.
So, yeah, looks like we'll be previewing that next week. So then we'll have a couple weeks off. So that's kind of the plan. But anyway, Money in the Bank main event is set up at the end of the Saturday night's main event show. So, okay. All right. That's probably involved John Cena then. So again, something definitely to look forward to there as I watch that. Probably Monday afternoon. So I'll get back to you, Mike. All right. So let's move into the movie news and a segment I know Matt was looking forward to. So let's check it out.
Yes.
All right, so not a ton of stuff in movies this week. Just kind of keep things a little bit short too as well. But there was a big movie trailer that dropped for one of the bigger movie releases this year. And that is, of course, the newest trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth. Let's check it out real quick. And we got a couple of items to talk about from it. So let's do it. Here we go. That's good. I like the scares being back in that part.
24 species have survived there alone.
The theme park owners did experimental work, leaving only the worst ones here.
You're right, Matt. They didn't say which one.
Don't see that every day.
Or ever.
Let's go.
If we get this DNA, millions of lives are saved.
Maybe we should make this quick, huh? Time to move.
We put ourselves in a place where we don't belong. Survival is a long shot.
That's kind of our specialty.
She's scared. She's scared of.
The beluga whale. All right, that's a terrifying shot.
We're not gonna let you get hurt, okay?
Look at Matt grinning.
There was a source. You found it? No, it found us.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so that movie is a little more than a month away, and I think that's probably going to be the final trailer we probably get for
It
that
is.
film. But yeah, and of course they brought out some new posters as well.
Yep.
Matt, I know you wanted to talk about a specific thing, but overall, before we get to that,
Okay.
what's your thoughts on this overall trailer?
Okay. I want to hear what Brandon has to say.
Okay.
I like it. It
Yeah.
looks good.
Okay.
I like the horror factor of it all. Like that part though, where she doesn't open the door. You like it was like 2 seconds. You could have let my man out.
No.
She just left him there. She
Yeah.
wanted him to die.
Okay.
A lot of movies
I-
do that sort
it
of
does
thing.
look
Like,
good.
like if you'd have just let him out real fast, but yeah,
No,
I get
she
it.
wanted him to die. She wanted him to die. I don't know what
Yeah.
he did, but he had to go.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep
But it
this
looks
a
good.
short.
Because if he would have lived, you would have been like mad that nobody
Yeah,
died
that's
in Jurassic Park.
That there always that risk of that
like,
beast getting out.
How are you
too.
going to save somebody from a fucking dinosaur?
I'm gonna keep this as short as I possibly can.
Okay.
That T-Rex scene with the raft,
Yeah, from the original
looks
novel.
beautiful.
Yeah, and
Like,
that
I mean,
is one of the
that
sequences
might
I'm looking
be-
forward to.
That might be the best T-Rex experience we've had since the first film,
Oh, since the original fence breakout.
since the original fence breakout. I think that is the best. I mean, it looks like a fat ass hydrosaur trying to attack a raft,
Mhm.
quadruped. I mean, it's just the way he bites. It
Mhm.
looks real.
Mhm.
As
Made
far
from
as
GPT created.
the quail sword looks great. The
Mhm.
dinosaur, the pterodactyl, the 747 thing's huge.
Mhm.
The hybrid aspect of it, I am okay with it as long as it is not the whole film.
Right. Well, we were talking a little bit about this at work actually, and they were doing some promotional photos and stuff for the film with the different dinosaurs they have in the movie. And of the ones they listed, there's really only 2 mutant dinosaurs that they listed in that list that we saw, and the rest of them were actual real dinosaurs. One of them obviously is the D-Rex that we've talked about before, and this one is the Mutodon, which is supposedly the hybrid mix of a pterodactyl with a raptor. So these could be the star
That's
of this film.
fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
and
and
of course they
this
got the
is
hooks on their
new.
feet as well, like the Raptors do. And I think this is going to be a big focal point of this movie here. Obviously, there's a big sequence here.
That thing looks horrifying.
Yeah, so I mean, it definitely got a little bit of both mixed in. If it's Raptors that can fly, even more terrifying. If they're as smart as that,
I hope they don't fly. I hope they like flutter and
like
glide.
chickens.
I
Well,
mean,
turkey vulture.
because
you know?
that's just scary.
Yeah.
As far as the D-Rex goes, the D-Rex looks every bit as horrifying as they're making it sound.
The beluga whale. Yeah.
The beluga whale, I am hoping to God that this is not from the first film, because it really throws a wrench in the canon aspect of Jurassic World and Jurassic Park. I hope this has more to do with Jurassic World.
Mhm.
Because if it does, this movie is going to be great.
Mhm.
And
Well, I think it's going to
was
make $1 billion
really
no matter
worried.
what. But
I was worried about it at first, but when you have a story, you have a plot, you've already showed us that you have a plot with the saving people's lives.
yeah.
Now, how much of that is true, we don't know, because we know how Engine likes to do what they
Well,
like to
they
do.
may not have anything to do with this.
Right. But I'm just saying, and that scene where Duncan holds the flare, please don't kill him off. Please.
I got a feeling
please,
everybody's dying but Scarlett Johansson. So prepare
Please.
yourself.
Please do not kill him off in that scene, because if they do, I'm going to be like, damn it, because that would be awesome. if
But
he
wait,
survived
you're the guy
that.
who always like kill everybody in Jurassic World. We want to see dinosaurs eating people, and now you want him to live? I swear.
But
Can't
that
make you
character,
happy.
that character in particular, he can
He
eat
ain't
the
making
other characters.
Listen,
No.
listen,
The
listen.
Scarlett
You can say what you
Johanssons,
want.
the what other 2 other people that are with him, he can eat them. Don't
Listen.
eat that character.
Listen, this is a trope in every movie, every horror movie ever invented in life. the black dude is gonna die. Like,
That's
he is
why
not
That's
making
messed
it.
up, man.
happen.
Terrible.
You know why he's gonna
Brandon-
die? Because he shouldn't have had his black
Brandon-
ass there in the first place.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why. Because if you watch the third Jurassic Park, the black guy makes 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Please let it be a little
You
bit
know what?
more
You're not
screen
wrong.
time than that.
You're not wrong.
not
Oh, that's
black
terrible.
guy.
Such a horrible.
Yo,
That's why
black
I
ass-
thought it was funny in the end of like, what was it, Scary Movie? I made it to the end. It's like, dude.
Eric, can you show the other the clip?
Yeah, yeah. Matt wanted to talk specifically about this shot in the trailer for some reason. So go ahead.
Brandon,
Mhm.
I know you have 3 kids. What in the hell is going on there?
Oh, that was a bunch of fucking dinosaurs.
It looks like they're
having
breeding to
babies
me.
like chickens.
Yeah.
Well, they're all the same
right.
long neck dinosaurs from the looks of things.
Eric, there's 80. of
I
them.
know there's a bunch of them, so I don't know if they're breeding or whatever. Remember, Engine said that couldn't happen, but they found the original film. So,
This
They
is
had
more-
eggs. Like they found
this
eggs.
is why.
so-
Yeah.
But this is why I wanted to bring this up because Eric, you said Gareth Edwards did this movie,
yes,
right? Okay, if I remember correctly, Gareth Edwards was also the one who did Godzilla.
yeah, the 2014 Godzilla with
Okay, do you remember
Yeah.
the beginning of Godzilla when the wife is standing on the other side of the door?
and not letting the guy out, just like at the beginning of this
it
trailer.
gives me that kind of vibe.
It's the
Now,
exact
if you-
same scene, to be honest with
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
if you watch this, this kind of gives me Peter Jackson,
Mm.
King Kong kind
you.
of
Yeah,
vibes.
it does got the Skull Island type feel
It has
to
a
it. Mm-hmm.
Skull Island kind of vibe
Yeah.
to it, and I think that would be great for Jurassic Park and Jurassic World.
What, to make like huge
No.
Godzilla-sized dinosaurs?
Just kind of some lore, you know.
Oh, I got
They
you.
already are.
Yeah, well,
More lore, Brandon,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. More.
Before
Well,
we
you-
move on from this picture, I want to just bring something up because I feel like it might be a good time. I think we're going to get ostriches.
Okay, that's great.
Don't
Let me
do
know
that.
when so I can pet them.
Don't.
That's
oh,
a good
yeah,
idea,
I got you.
Brandon.
For some reason, I thought she meant in the movie. I was like, what?
No,
I got
mean,
you in real life.
like long necks and stuff. I just reminded me. I heard their eggs are like really good for you.
That'd be
What are
awesome
we,
if you did
fucking
that.
And I
Doolittles?
love to terrorize my husband, so why not?
Yeah, why not? That'd be
Oh
great.
my
Their
God.
eggs are huge. We only need like 2.
Wow. How could this go wrong?
I'm looking
Exactly.
forward to it. I think I gotta watch and observe. It's awesome. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I see a lot of funny clips coming from it, and
yeah, that'd be
Good
yeah.
eggs.
We could share them on the podcast. It'd be great.
No, we
Brandon getting
can't.
chased by
Chasing
Brandon getting
Brandon
chased by
up the
ostriches in
hill.
the yard. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great. We get so much footage on that.
Well, and I'll just reiterate my fear for this movie is mostly, obviously, we've talked in the past about the mutants in this film. I did not want to see a Jurassic World movie, a dinosaur movie with nothing but mutated monsters on the entire film. If it's just a couple examples, fine. But I would really like for them to move away from the hybrids and this stuff. I really would.
Yeah,
Because
show
dinosaurs
some
are
of the
scary
original
enough as it
dinosaurs.
is, if
Yeah,
done correctly.
But like if I understand correctly, right? This was the first island, right?
Where they bred the original dinosaur.
Well,
Either that or where they bred the Jurassic World dinosaur. We don't know yet.
We
Well,
it,
so
it don't really
technically-
tell you.
Like
Yeah.
I said before, you would get mutants if that's the
Yeah.
first.
And
Because-
it does fit in with the story of them, playing God and messing with DNA. So I get all that. It's just, to me, I guess I don't know. I guess I just want to see dinosaurs in my dinosaur movie, right? To quote Ian Malcolm from the first film.
Yeah, I
Um,
get what you're saying, but it's
Yeah.
still like this is to what be expected because you don't know what you're doing, so you're just
Mhm.
trying shit to see what works. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get these weird ass hybrid dinosaurs essentially because you're trying to create something using DNA that you have no idea what DNA it needs to become whatever it is. So you would
Yeah.
get shit like a raptor.
yeah,
tech. That's
especially at
fucking-
first. You're not going to get it right the first time.
No, that is terrifying. Like legitimately, if something like that existed,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm dropping a deuce and I'm just dying of a heart attack right there in that car.
I'm more scared of the D-Rex.
it
The
probably
T-Rex
lives in
yeah.
Australia, so we should be good.
yeah, you know
Fair
what?
enough. Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. No doubt about it. So yeah. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. I think this does have the potential to be one of the better Jurassic Park movies. or Jurassic
Yeah.
World
Oh,
movies.
for sure.
So, and if they could set up a narrative for future films to come after this to kind of set that stage, I think Jurassic World will be on a good track, no doubt about it. We had a few chats here. Let's get into some of those. We had Mike in the chat saying, Brandon keeps disappearing into his Green Lantern background. How can we satisfy the other viewers if he's not showing the moneymaker? I guess you got to stay sat up in your chair, bro. But anyway,
Yeah, we all need that one black guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guys first in the movie.
Yeah. Well, we hope you at least make it to the end of the podcast. Then we got
Hey, Aaron, I have a question for Aaron real quick.
Yeah.
So I heard they ride together to work every day. They share stories. Brandon told Aaron about a situation with Mike, longtime friend. My only question for Aaron is, are you glad you met Brandon in his adult years instead of his childhood?
I am. I've heard stuff from his youth, and I'm like, I don't know if me and him would have been friends growing up as much.
Yeah.
I mean, we might have been, but he was in some circumstances I would have been near. My parents would have killed me. So yeah, but yeah, I'm glad I found him when we did. No doubt about it. I'll answer for Aaron. Yeah,
It was a wild time back then.
wild time, no doubt about it. Oh man. So yeah, we'll have to see what Aaron.
Dude, I blew his mind with this story though. It was fucking hilarious. I'll tell you off air about that shit, but it was
right. All right. I miss you guys at work. I ain't gonna lie. Don't see or talk. I definitely don't see Aaron much anymore. I mean, he gets on the podcast, but then sometimes he can't talk as much because situations and stuff. But but yeah, well maybe Aaron will jump on later. I don't know. Mike said, I doubt anyone is glad they met my dumbass. No, we're glad. I am. I don't know about that. I mean,
you were funny for the time that I got to
as much as he bust my chops, that's for sure. And Aaron said, I've told Brandon we would not have been friends growing up because he would have thought I was too weird.
No, Aaron. Listen, Brandon finds all the weird people. Trust me. So I'm sure.
I'm sure
you would.
Hello.
They gravitate towards him.
Yeah, you got some sort of I don't know.
Meter,
yeah. I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry, bro. I really
you guys aren't getting it. I'm calling y'all weird. So.
Yeah, well, not the first time, won't be the last for me. So
I heard
all y'all. Man, it was wild. All right, that's all I gotta say. It was wild back then.
Meeting and becoming friends with me is quite the tale for Mike. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know if we need to talk about that on the show, but
interesting fucking.
It's an interesting story, and I don't want to like name names or anything like that.
But, when I said Mike, I didn't mean this Mike. I meant Mike from like 1999.
Oh,
yeah, no, this is Mike. I knew.
His childhood friend, Mike.
Aaron said, "No, I was younger. I was really weird. I guess never had friends until I was an adult. Really." I mean, I didn't have a lot of friends until I was, probably junior high school. But even then, it was only like 5 or 6. I didn't a small, kind of like I do now, like a small little group of people I really trust and like, But so y'all feel privileged you're in my circle. No, I'm just kidding.
My circle wasn't that big either.
Yeah, I had quite a few friends, and they were always getting us in trouble. So count your blessings.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to have too many because then it can become problems for sure. I like smaller group myself, but
then they start fighting and.
Yeah, well, Aaron, I consider you part of my small inner circle, so I just don't see you anymore, bro. So we'll hopefully do the D&D
time and time again.
Yeah,
I don't know why y'all keep calling me friend when I have yet to use that to describe any of y'all. Okay,
I think you're right. You probably say it behind our back though. Just don't want us to know.
I don't.
We're casual. I forgot. Brandon's a casual acquaintance. He's a coworker. Used to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, we're not friends so much. He went to the other shift, so we never have to see us again. That's what it was. Let's not lie. All right. Let's just put all the cards on the table. So, but yeah, I get it. I mean, you can just say we're weird.
And then it's fantasy football season. So
yeah. And now I can't trash talk.
No,
don't worry. We'll trash talk plenty on this podcast. No doubt about it. Y'all are really good. Which that's coming up real quick too. I need to get on that. Mike said, I met one of my best friends when I found him passed out drunk in the back seat of his car one morning after work at the Cord Factory. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Wait.
What?
Passed out drunk in my back seat. How'd he get your car?
Yeah, how do you
That'd
get
be
your
my
car?
first- Yeah.
I got questions.
Yeah, I got questions about this.
No,
Mr. Rio.
me and Devin became fucking close friends because we wore the same shirt. It was just a different color. I walk into science class. I shit you not. This is how this interaction went. I walked into science class. I saw him sitting there. I seen his shirt. I looked at my shirt. Looked back at his shirt. And I was like, "Your mom got that at Walmart?" He was like, "Yeah." End of story.
Wow. And that's all
then-
you need to say. Let's be honest.
And Brandon, who's been my friend since the first grade, like I've known this kid. I mean, we go back sandbox. I met him because I glued my eyes shut in art class.
Awkward silence ensues.
I did.
How'd
That's
you
what
pull that
happened.
one off?
I had glue on my hand and I rubbed my eyes and I
Just
glued that
glue it in
bitch
your
shut and
Yeah.
freaked out when it wouldn't open.
What, Mike? I got more questions now. Mike said he thought he was getting in his sister's car again. How did he get in your car?
Yeah,
Like,
just be leaving your car.
I
alone
get
like
what he
that?
was thinking. I'm trying to understand how he gained access to said vehicle that was yours. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. Unless you just left it unlocked, but even so, I got more questions now.
That's
But-
dangerous.
Wild
Dangerous
times
thing.
at the Cord
Yep.
Factory. Sounds like we talked about the other friend you had last week with his Tourette's, which wasn't Tourette's, but anyway. So, moving on. Maybe you can fill us in a little bit of that while we get into the next segment here. Apparently, we've got some major movie news on the Marvel front. Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars have both been delayed by 7 months each. Putting
Damn.
release dates at December 2026 for Doomsday and December 2027 for Secret Wars, kind of coming in around that Christmas time of the year. That now means that Spider-Man 4 Brand New Day will now release before Doomsday and Secret Wars instead of in between. So in a way, that's actually good news. Because rumors suggested that it wouldn't be possible for Tom Holland's Spider-Man to be involved in Avengers Doomsday with his schedule currently filming the Odyssey for Christopher Nolan and his current contract situation with Sony, but the delay potentially allows for him to appear in Avengers Doomsday now. So yeah, that's good news in that front. Also kind of gives Marvel Studios kind of the creative freedom to make Spider-Man whatever they wanted to make it now. Before, if it was in between Doomsday and Secret Wars, it has to deal with the ramifications of Doomsday. Now, being before Doomsday, they can kind of do whatever they want since it takes place probably before that film. So, I'll just say this, and I'll probably speak for everybody here on the panel. The delay sucks. 7 months is bad. I hate that we got to wait longer. However, I'd rather it be great and be awesome. So take your time, get it right, do a good job, make a good movie. So, any other thoughts on that? What do you guys think of the delay? It's not a great deal, but still. Yeah.
It sucks, but it is what it is. I'd rather. It's the same way I guess I feel about GTA. Like I'd rather you get it right than.
Which makes me feel like Spider-Man will not make it through Doomsday.
Dude, Spider-Man, if the rumors are true, they're working on a deal, if not have already confirmed a deal, where he's going to be in like 3 more team-up films and 3 more solo films. So he'll be around a while. I don't think Spider-Man is the one dying here. Now, eventually, I think he'll pass the baton off to a Miles Morales. Potentially, they even set that up in the next few singles films. But
Deadpool.
Well, Deadpool, the whole thing with Ryan Reynolds, too. I don't know how much longer he wants to play the character. He's even talked about how he pitched Deadpool dying in Deadpool and Wolverine recently. So, and Disney said, no, we want a little more mileage out of the character, obviously, because they want money. So we'll see how that goes, too. But there are heavy rumors that Thor is going to be dying or getting I don't know about dying, but they say that they want to send Thor and Chris Hemsworth off in a big special way in one of the Avengers movies, probably Secret Wars, I'm imagining. So whether it means he's dying in a dramatic way, kind of like Tony Stark did, or just writing his character off for final, that's the last time we see him. I don't know. But
he will fight Doctor Doom and he will die.
It's possible. We at least got to get Thor holding Deadpool as Thor's crying first. That's what I want to see first and foremost. But but Avengers Doomsday is currently filming. The rumors suggest as of right now, and this is kind of speculation territory on my part, but rumors suggest as of right now that at San Diego Comic-Con in July, Marvel Studios may hold a panel where they could have potentially announce some movies. Right now, it's Spider-Man Brand New Day after Fantastic Four, then Doomsday and Secret Wars. But there's potential rumors out there that say that they're going to announce potentially Doctor Strange 3, Thor 5 and what was the other? Oh, World War Hulk to kind of take place in and around Doomsday and Secret Wars. So if that's the case, though, at least the end the phase on a high note, hopefully, before we get into the overall reboot with the X-Men and stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. And there's also rumor, and I've been saying this forever, and I want to stick to this. With Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars now being pushed back 7 months to be the end of 2026 and the end of 2027, the rumor is that Secret Wars still could get potentially broken up into 2 parts, and you could have it at the end of 2027 in December, and the second part on May of 2028, which would still be the 20th anniversary of the first Iron Man film. So I'm still thinking they want to make that special. So that's not confirmed, but that is my theory, and I'm sticking to it until it ends up not being the case. So that could be great if we could get a trilogy of Avengers films to wrap up this entire saga as we know it before the reboot. So any other thoughts on that?
Nope.
All good there. So yeah, kind of sucks, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense to get it right. No doubt about it. Apparently, Mike said, to follow up on his story, car was unlocked and he just mistook my car for hers. Okay. That makes more sense.
It's still wild.
It's still pretty wild, no doubt about it. And we got Slar the Assassin in the chat. Good to see you, Slar. It's been a little while there. Yeah, we were on last week. We didn't know if you were there or not. We did have a couple weeks off, but I think we'll be here tonight. And as long as you guys are good, probably next week too. After that, it might get a little more dicey going into June a little bit, but we'll work it out. Aaron said, "Hey, Slara," and then Mike said, "Unfortunately, he was killed in 2007 as a result of drunk driving." Oh man, that sucks. Jesus. I hate to hear that, Mike. Didn't break the habit, huh? I hate to hear that. Not to get too personal, Mike, if you don't want to share it, that's fine. But I wonder if that played a role in you potentially trying to stop drinking too. I know you were able to do that too. So congrats, by the way, on that. So that's awesome to hear too. And Aroni said, "Boo, San Diego Comic-Con sucks." Why do you hate San Diego Comic-Con for? Just because you're not there?
I had fun. I went there. It was a
I
blast.
wish I could go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Except for the one time that dude pushed me. I'd let that motherfucker know. Like, it ain't what it is. Like, we ain't going nowhere. It's a line, okay? There's a bunch of people around us. If they ain't moving, I ain't fucking moving. You pushing me ain't gonna make me move.
And my God, shower. Wrestling fans and comic fans. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Tell Aaron to quit being a hater.
I'm both, but I shower. It's like, how hard is it to take a bar of soap down?
Hit the hot spots at least. Shit.
Yeah, at least. That's something. I mean, my God. But anyhow, but I will say this: next time Comic-Con comes to Indy, we got to go. You guys probably went, but I've never been to one. I want to go.
We went to one. Yeah,
we went the 2017.
God, Aaron.
What did he say?
He said, "I'm glad you had fun, but F him." He's got it. Why do you need to tell us? Like, why do you not like it? Like, maybe he's probably gone since he used to live out that way.
I saw Virgil there, by the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I saw him in Kentucky. So
I did not.
Virgil gets around, I guess.
Stan Lee was at that one too, wasn't he?
Stan Lee was at that one.
You didn't
too.
really see him.
Dope. I saw.
Cool.
I shook his hand. I saw Lou Ferrigno. He was there. He was dope. Stan Lee was there. The costume contest was by far the sweetest thing I've ever seen. The amount of time people put into these fucking outfits and shit, like that shit was dope. It was really dope. We should definitely go to Comic-Con though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I want to go, no doubt about it. Oh, well, speaking of comics a little bit, got a couple more. Let's before we do that, let's get into the rapid fire, and I've got a few more little comic book notes, and we'll move on. Okay, so quick rapid fire movie news this week, and we'll get into the sports and politics. We'll get out of here. Yeah, we got our first look at Galactus in the Fantastic Four First Steps film, as you see here currently on the screen. This is probably the most comic book, I guess, accurate version of Galactus that you're probably going to see on film. It's far better than this right here, which was in Fantastic Four 2,
mercy.
which was the big cloud monster. Word to the wise, Green Lantern movie, if you're listening, anytime you use a big space cloud, it's not good for a villain. Okay, let's just not do that no more. Okay, we agreed. Awesome. All right. So, but this right here, this is a good look. A lot of people were complaining about it, as the internet tends to do. But again, what do you prefer, this or the cloud?
That thing looked like
this looks pretty dope.
It looked like a giant planet-eating anus.
How How many planet eating anuses are you seeing?
I was about to say, I was about to ask him, but then I'm like, you know what?
saying. I mean, that's what it looks like.
I'm gonna move on from that because there's no recovery.
I
From
don't
it.
even know
Anyhow,
what to say.
but yeah, this looks good. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, it kind of looks more like a rendering than maybe the actual thing. So again, it kind of goes along with some of the promo art that we've been getting. This one from Snapple of all things, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this movie. It'll be potentially the only MCU film we get for another year coming July. So enjoy it while you can, because MCU may go probably more TV oriented for a little while there. Speaking of MCU 2, Scarlett Johansson says it is, quote, very hard to understand how her returning in Avengers Doomsday would make any sense for the Black Widow character. She said, quote, I miss my buddies and really would love to be with them forever, but her story is complete. I don't want to mess with that. Anybody buy that?
No.
I mean, I'm not saying that she's lying. I'm not. But I also remember a time when Andrew Garfield also said he's not in Spider-Man No Way Home. And he was. So it could just be a surprise they're trying to keep on.
I think that Hawkeye and her both will be in it.
I don't know how the hell she.
Hawkeye, I could definitely see for sure.
Hawkeye, and her both will be in the movie.
But I mean, hers is a little more different because again, her character did die. But they brought Gamora back. They're bringing back RDJ. I mean, you can bring her back not even as the same Black Widow or as a variant of an evil Black Widow. So again, a lot of this could just be smoke and mirrors to kind of throw viewers and the audience off the scent of her possible surprise return. So. Again, take it as a grain of salt, even though the actor did say it. Marvel's actors have been known to lie before. Speaking of Marvel actors who got asked about Avengers Doomsday, Hugh Jackman also played coy on if he will return as Wolverine in Doomsday. He said, I can't say much. I really have nothing to add. And if I did, I would find a really cool way to not say it. But I actually have nothing to add. Almost kind of like he found a cool way to not say it. So, again, we'll wait and see with this. Take it as a huge grain of salt. But as of right now, neither are confirmed for Doomsday. But at San Diego Comic-Con, there's also rumors going around that the MCU may actually reveal their entire cast list for Doomsday, as we only have half of them confirmed right now. Also, on July 18th, Apple TV Plus is releasing a Snoopy Presents musical called A Summer Musical, the first Peanuts musical in 35 years. So those of you out there who like the Charlie Brown series on Apple TV Plus, you're going to be getting a new Peanuts musical, and they're also still in development heavily on the new theatrical, Peanuts movie 2 that is going to be coming as well. So Charlie Brown and Snoopy and the gang are still going to be finding their ways to the television screen and the big screen here in the future. And this week, releasing in theaters is, of course, the new live-action Lilo and Stitch movie, which has got currently a grade on CinemaScore, and I think it's like a 40-some Rotten Tomatoes score. So some are liking it, some are not. Some are saying it deviates a little bit from the animated movie. I'm not positive how much so, but apparently it's in theaters now. And of course, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning also released this weekend for Memorial Day weekend. I got a chance to see this movie last night, and I got to tell you right now, it does a really great job. Non-spoilers, no spoilers here. That of wrapping up the series, if this is indeed the final one, and also tying back into some of the older entries as well. And I'll say this up front, based on the stunts that Tom Cruise does in this movie and in all these films, there is and never will be another actor like Tom Cruise. I'll just say that. Love him or hate him personally outside of the movie business, but the dude cares about the movie industry. He even puts these videos out before his films air in the theaters, welcoming people to the movie screens in person and letting them know that he's glad that they're there to kind of, promote the theatrical going experience. And just the stuff that he does in his films, these stunts that he does in this movie, again, there will never be another person who does it. They broke the mold when they made Tom Cruise, just from the actor's his repertoire standpoint in the world of movies. So definitely go see us if you're a fan of the series at all. I think it did a very good job of wrapping up the series. I really do, if it is indeed the final one. So that being said, any of you guys' thoughts on some of this rapid fire movie news? You guys looking forward to Mission Impossible or Lilo and Stitch?
I haven't watched the rest of them, so no. I mean, I probably will watch the Lilo and Stitch joint, but
I still highly recommend Mission Impossible as well. If you love spy action films, after the third film especially, they dramatically got better. So yeah. What, Matt?
I'll probably end up seeing both, but I'll probably wait till they come out on
streaming. Yeah, I don't blame you there. That's probably what I'll end up doing with Lilo and Stitch. I'd ask my sister and my niece if
Lilo
I
and
guarantee you my niece wanted to go
good.
see it. So I'm sure they've seen it at this point or will be soon. So I'm
I do worry because of Disney's recent performance in movies
Mhm.
about Lilo and Stitch.
Like their live action adaptations. I've not heard anything like
They're-
agenda related. So I've not heard that. I've just heard they might have made some tweaks with the story. I don't know. But they did the same thing with Little Mermaid. I heard a lot of people didn't care for that too. So
I've looked into Disney, and I don't think Disney's going in the right direction.
well, I'm hoping they are starting to make a turnaround. We got a story a little bit later on in the politics section that might lead credence to that. So we'll talk about that.
Okay, proceed.
But yeah, let's get into a
All
couple
right,
of
I'm gonna
chats here.
go potty before we get there.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Let's see. Aaron said San Diego Comic-Con sued the Salt Lake Comic-Con for using the Comic-Con name and won. So now it's called Salt Lake Fan X for Expo, I'm assuming. And I agree with Slara. That is messed up. Yeah, I can see why you maybe not like him then. No doubt about it. But it's kind of weird though. Indiana uses Comic-Con. They apparently got no problem with that. So I don't know what is it just because it's so close to San Diego? Utah, I don't know. I don't know. It's not that close, but anyway, that's kind of petty if you ask me. And Mike said, I quit drinking in 2011. My 35th birthday was my last drink. I used to drink to make myself sick on purpose, deep down, hoping the alcohol would just kill me. Well, that's not good. October 1st, 2011, I just decided I was done and haven't drank a single drop of alcohol since. Well, I'm very proud of you, bro. That's a big accomplishment. Anytime, addiction like that or whatever is involved, it's very hard to kick. No doubt about it. And by all means, dude, if you ever get to that low point, by all means, talk to me, or talk to any of us. We don't want anything like that at all. But a lot of people have a hard time with it, and I'm sure it's not easy, no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm glad to see that you were able to overcome that. So many others do not, so that's a big accomplishment, no doubt about it. So congrats, dude. I'm glad to hear. And I know you. It's a sense of pride for you. I can tell. So I know you've put some posts out on Facebook and stuff like on your anniversary and things like that for the being sober. So that's really cool. All right. That being said, we're going to talk about a thing here in a little bit called the race that we'll probably see many a folk drinking alcohol tomorrow. But yeah, so let's get into the sports stuff. You ready? Here we go.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. All right. If I can find the thing. Here we go. Okay. Indianapolis has kind of got the spotlight shined on it this week, and for good reason and other reasons not so good. Let's start out with the sad bit first. Indianapolis Colts legendary owner Jim Irsay, passed away on Wednesday at the age of 65 years old. Obviously, Jim Irsay has been widely known to have addiction issues himself. Let's put it that way when it comes to alcohol and some drug-related things as well. But he definitely tried to fight through them, and obviously some people don't get through it. But I actually got sober or not. It didn't sound like it per se. But I know he's had some other health issues and stuff as well. Probably some of it may be due to some of that stuff. But just sad to hear as a Colts fan. I know us three here, are definitely Colts fans. Obviously, we didn't always agree necessarily with how Jim Irsay ran the Colts operation sometimes either. And maybe some of the decisions that were made, whatever. But that none of that really matters here. What matters is this man's life. And of course, regardless of what we like what he did with the organization, he was definitely a proponent for the city of Indianapolis, definitely a big supporter of all the teams and everything around the city itself in general. And for that, he has to absolutely be praised for. And he was also known for handing out money to all of his employees and stuff, things like that, and doing things nice for the people in the community, the homeless and things like that. So still sad to hear, no doubt about it. And of course, the Indianapolis Colts put out this statement as well. So what are your guys' thoughts on Jim Irsay, the owner, Jim Irsay, the man? Just a sad thing to hear this week. No
Brandon,
doubt.
have you ever been to Lucas Oil Stadium?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone who's ever been to Lucas Oil Stadium, that is a perfect homage to what Jim Irsay is.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the dragsters in there. He's got the rock and roll guitars in there.
Big time guitar fan.
He's got the Jim Irsay was very he showed the world what he was. And it's going to be hard to find someone like that again. And I always think that he made the Colts what they were. I mean, the Colts were a team from Baltimore that shit, they barely made the playoffs before they moved to here. And
Yeah, his father brought them here, and
it was his dad. Yes, his dad
Yeah.
brought him here. But Irsay's family legacy, and as far as Jim Irsay goes, it's very sad. And Jim Irsay always reminded me of Harry Carey. You ever see Harry Carey?
oh, holy cow! I got
Harry Carey sitting up in the press box drunk before the games. You know, Jim Irsay would be sitting up there going in the press conference. We'd be losing every preseason game known to man. And Jim Irsay would be going, we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to do all this. We're going to do all that. He just loved football, and he loved the game of football. And it's just very sad.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm sad for his family, and my condolences. And
yeah. Speaking of the Colts, their success during his tenure, obviously under the Peyton Manning era, and stuff like that, was obviously very successful. He brought us the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis, their only world championship in Indianapolis. Obviously, the Baltimore Colts had won one prior, but obviously went to another Super Bowl against New Orleans Saints in 2009. But the 2006 season was the championship year with Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning also put out a very well thought out statement, as well as many of the old teammates and people who used to work for him did. All of it obviously very well, very well liked amongst all of the people who worked for him and played for him and things like that. So definitely heartbreaking for sure. Brandon, did you have any thoughts on Jim Irsay as the owner, as a Colts fan?
So I didn't know much about Jim until I was, reading all this stuff. And then I listened to Pat talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that all the stuff that he did for Indy. He bought a bunch of old historical buildings so they wouldn't be tore down to be restored. He would outbid other millionaires on relic items, not to be stored in somebody's house somewhere away from the public, but to house he did a mobile museum essentially, and he took it around so people could share in these things. There was one story about him paying for a funeral of a friend of a friend, essentially somebody worked for it, and he did it not because he wanted the recognition for it. He said that was one of the conditions of him doing this, was his name to be brought up in the whole thing, because it wasn't about getting recognized for doing shit like this. And then I found out that he paid for hundreds of fucking funerals. Again, out of his own pocket, but under anonymity of he didn't want the credit for it. He was just helping out, people. So despite, the football chatter of, being mad at Jim or not agreeing with decisions he made, he's been in the Colts around football since he was 13 years old. His dad ran, the Baltimore Colts. And then at 37, being the youngest at the time owner of a franchise football team.
Yeah.
In Colts. I learned all this shit in a day.
Mm-hmm.
But for the people who've been around him his whole life, he meant way more to them than he could mean to me. But at the same time, a loss like that is felt by everybody. And it sucks when it happens. I found out, I woke up, I was asleep, and I woke up, and that was the first thing I saw when I woke up, and I was like, oh, that's shit. You know what I mean?
And it sucks too, when, obviously his public struggles were very public. It's like his internal struggles were very public, I should say. And when all that's brought to the forefront, a lot of people tend to not think so much about the good things the man has done in his life, and the joy he did bring to so many people in the city of Indianapolis, especially. So it's just I really hate to see when that sort of thing is tarnished because of stuff that he was dealing with personally. We've all got our struggles, we've all got our issues, and I think if we could all realize that about others, and even myself included, I need to be better about understanding other people have struggles as well. But it's just I just hate to see that happen when something like this happens. Everybody wants to talk about all of his issues instead of the other good things, no doubt about it. But So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I did find this interesting too, though. I saw this online of somebody who came up with a concept of what the Colts could do at center field,
That's cool.
replace their logo and tribute of Jim Irsay. Obviously, being a big guitar lover, I think that would be really cool and apropos. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be something like they would just change for forever. That'd be something to kind of honor their old owner for sure. But they're also obviously, I'm sure this season will be dedicated to him. They'll probably have little J eyes on their helmets or something for Jim Irsay in honor of him. And hopefully they can have a really good winning season and love to see him win a Super Bowl. Maybe I'm being a little optimistic there, but at the same time, we'd love to see
he sent a good luck to the Pacers, and we saw how that game ended.
Exactly. Mike even mentioned that in the chat. He says last tweet was cheering on the Indiana Pacers before game one against the Knicks, and they won that game on a crazy game-tying pop-up, three-point shot that ended up being a 2-point shot. So yeah, that was outstanding too. So it almost did kind of feel like a little maybe divine intervention, a little bit of help from above. I don't know, but it was pretty cool to see. Mike also said it wasn't that long ago I was watching old videos just for fun of the Colts leaving Baltimore. He watched several videos of Baltimore's news footage in the old Mayflower. I remember that, no doubt about it. And he said, by the way, I would like to raise a metaphorical mug of beer to George Wendt, a.k.a. Norm on Cheers, a great actor and great character, which I'm not going to lie, I've not really watched a ton of Cheers, but after his passing, I have been watching some episodes, and I'm starting to get a little hooked, so I'm probably going to try to watch the rest of that series. I've not seen a whole lot of it. I was more of a Frasier guy growing up. Cheers was a little before I got too interested, so I'm kind of going back.
All that,
Yeah, I've watched Cheers because my grandmother watched Cheers, so therefore I watched Cheers. Yeah, I seen the post where he passed away, and I was like, "What? Norm died?"
Yeah, and kind of an underrated movie in my opinion. I knew him most when I was a kid from watching Man of the House, starring Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Chevy Chase. He was like one of the Indian guys in that movie. I loved him in that too. So yeah, definitely a loss for George Wendt for sure. And I guess the actual Cheers bar had a big tribute for him and stuff down there as well. So that's awesome, cool to see. But as for the Indianapolis Colts, kind of get back on topic a little bit there. It has now been confirmed that his daughter Carly Irsay Gordon will assume ownership of the Colts. Now she's been co-owner since 2012. So she's already kind of been groomed for this role. She's been around. She's been a vice president for the organization since 2008 and stuff as well. So she's ready for this, I think, in my opinion. Now there's going to be some people say, well, that just means the Colts ain't going to change. But let's just wait and see. It's a little early for that. But she's been around the team for a long time. She knows the organization well, so might as well, right? What, Aaron? What, Matt? I'm sorry.
Why would they need to change? I mean, I think that would be insulting.
It sounds poetic or apropos, I guess you could say, that she would take over, right?
You know what? This is going to sound weird coming from me, but I hope they have a great season.
Oh wow!
Even
on November 2nd?
No.
Not so much that
have
day.
a few losses.
That changed really fast.
Yeah. And I agree, Mike.
Say a perfect season.
Right. And I agree, Mike. The video clip of Frasier's baby and Cheers yelling "Norm" when he walked in the door was great. Absolutely, probably one of the better entrances he had, and he had some very memorable ones over the years, no doubt about it. But no, against the black and gold team that Mike couldn't remember. We hope the Colts lose that one, right?
Yeah.
Miranda does. I don't. So yeah. But moving on from that a little bit, though. So in other NFL related news, the tush push is not banned. By the way, the vote came in, and the tush push lived on. Despite 22 teams pushing to ban it, it needed 24 votes to officially be banned. So the teams who voted to get rid of the tush push are up top. The 10 teams who voted to keep it are on the bottom. I know some people want to say, oh, it's just kind of a cheap way to get a few yards, but I kind of tend to agree with Brandon and the 10 teams on the bottom. And Mike Vrabel of the New England Patriots also said this. He said, Lamar Jackson's good. He's hard to stop. Does that mean we ban him too? So
exactly.
You just ban everything because it's hard to stop? You know what I mean?
Him.
So, yeah, I mean, if it's hard to stop, that just means it's more of a challenge for you, right? So that's just the way I look at it.
Anything about this that I'm noticing, guys?
Mm-hmm.
The teams that are on the top all have offensive line problems.
But what? Well, because so you mean they can't do it? Well, I mean, maybe.
Let's
partially.
see here.
I'd be more concerned about the defensive line to stop this than I would be the offensive line.
Arizona, offensive line problem. New York Giants, an offensive line problem.
Oh, they may not be now. You just don't know. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say
Indianapolis
the
Colts, an offensive line problem.
Indianapolis Colts got one of the better. Well, usually.
Let's see. The Pittsburgh Steelers, an offensive line problem.
Hey, they drafted the linemen, man.
What up, Matt?
I think I got my point across.
But yeah, I'm with Brandon. though. I think stop him. Yeah. I mean,
stop them, Brandon.
for the most, it's like the Lions when we don't want you to give first downs when we have defensive interference. Well, maybe you shouldn't have defensive interference.
Yeah,
I mean that simple as that. So I don't think that.
If you can't stop it, then that's your problem.
Yeah, if you
exactly.
can't stop it, that's on you.
Yeah, that just seems stupid to change them. And the kickoff rule is stupid anyway. A lot of people like it. I think it's stupid.
Well, they're probably going to amend that here and there too a little bit. But Aaron said the other 22 teams who voted against the push, they just need to do a better job and get better alignment. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the overall consensus, I think.
That's how.
But again, more than half of the league voted to ban it.
Yeah.
But they needed like 75%, I think, and they just barely missed out on that. So. In that case, tush push remains at least one more season. And Mike said the Colts Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 41. Their owner has sadly passed away, and this year makes year 41 in Indy. Maybe
possibly.
I didn't know about that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the other day. It's been 19 years since our Super Bowl win. That's too long for me. But
sad.
that's sad. It makes me feel old too. So yeah, but anyway, I also found it interesting too that the Green Bay Packers were the one who brought up the tush push rule possibly being banned, and they got beat by the Eagles in the playoffs last year, 22-10, the exact same score as the vote count to keep the tush push in place. So I think that is what you call fate right there. I think so. Cry more, Packers fans. I suppose. I don't know.
Like, stop it. Like, what do you want? Like, you have 4 down or 3 downs. Well, you know what I mean. To stop them. Like, if you let them get in within a yard, you know they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not like it can't be stopped because it has been stopped.
Yeah.
Stop them. Like, what are you bitching about? It's
coming
football.
from a guy when I play Madden online and you get them at 4th and 1. Hell, even at 4th and 25, they always go for it.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand a little bit. If you get them at 4th and 1, you feel like they should just kick it. But if you can do it, do it.
Because like I'm already mad at that fucking point, and because I'm losing, so, I'm going for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would go for it too. For the most part, but anyway, I just hate it when it happens to me. That's just me. But anyway, that doesn't mean I'm saying you should ban people from going for it on 4th online and Madden. I'm not saying that. But
and whoever that coach was had a good fucking point. There are a lot of good players on the fucking field. Are you just gonna ban those guys too?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was hard to stop fucking Jerome Bettis back in the day. Did you go ban him? It was hard to stop Barry Sanders back then. Were you gonna ban him?
Apparently.
Joe Montana, fucking Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith. You gonna ban
the list goes on.
All right, Brandon, we get your point.
Yeah, exactly. Mike asked Miranda. He said, "Miranda, are you waiting on pins and needles for Aaron Rodgers to become a Steeler?" We kind of talked a little bit about that last week, but
she rolled her eyes.
We're going to talk about Aaron for a hot second in the politics section later.
Yeah, and Aaron's going to do what Aaron's going to do, and if he gets himself a spot on the Steelers, I hope he can keep his ego in check.
I like him in some respects. I don't like him in others. It's kind of interesting. It's the football aspects I don't like him as much for. It's the politics stuff I kind of like him more for. But anyhow, we'll talk about him a little bit later on. So that's great. Let's see here. Mike says it's like when a team gets mad when losing like 42-0, saying they're running up the score. Figure out how to stop them from scoring overpriced millionaire athletes. So, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna throw in the towel of the mercy rule just because you can't stop it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, if I don't care if my quarterback's got 42 fucking points, you better keep his ass in because I've got him in a fantasy team. And if my other my teammate's quarterback has 50 points, I'm screwed.
Yeah, exactly. Fantasy football's awful sometimes to us, but it's also fun. But that was very frustrating. I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on that year where I lose a game on Thursday night because I got beat by 100 points in one game.
Oh my god!
I'm waiting because it's happened to everybody else. Seems like.
Yeah,
I know.
I still think about that day. Like that.
It damages your soul.
So bad.
Yeah. So I mean, I hope I do it to someone else. I don't want to be on the receiving end of it. That's
No.
for damn sure.
Genuinely
No,
felt
it's
bad.
fun.
I felt bad by proxy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I seen his face. I was like, ooh.
I fully expect an apology from whoever does it if it happens. I'll say that right now.
Apologize.
You ain't getting it from me if I do.
Did Chris ever
Okay.
apologize to? Was it you, Brandon?
No, it was Miranda that did it to
Oh.
Chris.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
But Chris did it. Chris did it to you though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Chris
he
did it
got
to you, I
back.
think. That's why I asked
Yeah,
if
he
you
got
got
This
it.
year or last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
think
got
it was this year.
for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so yeah, one more NFL thing I wanted to talk about here before we move to a couple other sports items. The NFL officially is allowing their players to participate in the United States Olympic Games
Ooh,
that will be
that
taking
would be
place
fucking fun.
in Los Angeles. The downside to it, it's flag football.
Oh,
Who cares?
no, man. I'm
So-
not
You
excited
can
anymore.
say your ACL playing flag football.
I'm assuming part of that has to do with the NFL not wanting their players to get hurt. I don't think they're actually doing a full-blown American-style football in pads in the Olympics. I don't think. I don't know for sure.
No, not if they're playing flag football. They're not.
No, but either way, I expect the Americans to dominate in this.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I don't know who they're
Yeah.
going to play against. The Canadians? I mean,
Go.
I don't know.
I mean, you're
Who
not
roots
wrong.
for Canada?
What if you get some rugby players over there? They're gonna.
Hey,
I mean,
that's
it's still
different.
flag. But
Them boys
Don't talk
different.
about the 51st state that way.
Them rugby players crazy work, boy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I expect the score to be like USA 76, England 7, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see. I mean, this is not soccer. Like most countries don't have this.
No,
we do.
but
So,
again,
I don't know.
New Zealand and Australia, they have rugby players. Like there are
true.
rugby,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
those
tough.
are some big boys. Like,
but can they play football?
yeah, it's the same thing essentially. Rugby is
It-
essentially football.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't watch a lot of rugby. I don't know how much it's similar.
I think
but,
the ball's a little bigger. and
yeah,
harder.
a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, Canada.
But I mean, getting used to football rules, that might be different.
well, it's
We
flag
might
football
actually get
too.
that
So
just
like,
Flag football, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
just don't.
excited though. I thought it was gonna be full contact.
I
Football.
mean, I don't know. I guess it would be no worse than the Pro Bowl. They play flag football there now.
hey, but them boys were scooting.
Now, it is a concern for. I'm assuming this would be the summer games since it'll be in 2028 and probably during the summer. So, but that does lead teams to be concerned if because you can blow a knee out just running. I mean, it's always a risk no matter what. But I guess this is what we can expect in the Olympics in 2028. When it
if
comes
you're
to Los
Brandon,
Angeles.
you can blow a knee out just walking. So
Yeah, I know I've done stuff. I've blown a back out by sneezing. I mean, so
yeah, me
it's
too.
ridiculous.
Me
Went back
too.
out sleeping. Shit.
Yeah, or bending down to get clothes out of the washer and dryer. It's like ridiculous. But yeah, so I guess we got that to look forward to. So I'm glad they're letting them at least compete or have some, and go for gold. I know Justin Jefferson was all excited about getting gold medal. I'm going, but bro, you're still not full blown foot. Anyway, I don't know if I'd be super proud of it, but that's just me. But then again, it's an Olympic medal. What can you do? As Mike mentioned earlier on the chat too, the Indiana Pacers are now 2-0 up in their series in the Eastern Conference Finals in the
You might as well
NBA
stick
over
a
the New
fork
York
in this.
Knicks. Huh?
You gotta stick a fork in this. This is over.
You think so?
It's over.
Well,
I said
but
today-
here's the thing: the Pacers are coming back home for the next 2 games against the Knicks, and if they win those 2 games, they move on to the NBA Finals. But the Knicks, let's keep this in mind: the New York Knicks are 5-1 on the road in this year's playoff series, so this is far from over.
Here's the thing. The Knicks, and I said this the other day. I can't remember the lady's name at work. She wears all the jerseys and shit. I can't remember her name. We were talking about this shit, and I said the Knicks issue is the same issue a lot of teams have when they play the Pacers. The Pacers play at a very quick pace. Like
and they don't.
No pun
they
intended.
run them boys up and down the fucking court. So like, if you can't keep up with that, what's gonna happen is what happens to everybody. You're gonna get gassed.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
You're fine, but you won't. So
Matt,
like,
stop talking, Matt. You're the jinx now. Quit it.
if you can't keep up with them, like running up and down that court, you're not gonna win. They did it game 1, and they did it again game 2.
Yeah.
Like
All I
if
know
they-
is,
they go up 3-0 in this
Uh-huh.
series for sure.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
wrap.
well, even 3-1. Let's say the Knicks win 1 there. That's kind of what happened against the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers came to Indy 1-1, and so But even so, this is a great start for the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. And this is a Indiana Pacers team who has never won the NBA championship. So it would be a first time ever for this organization. And that's the thing I'm actually kind of liking about this NBA playoffs this year. You got 4 teams left. The Oklahoma City Thunder, who won NBA championships before when they were the Seattle Supersonics, but they've never won it in Oklahoma City. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves, who've never won the NBA title as well. And on the Eastern side, and they're playing, yeah. And you got the Pacers who never won it, and then you've got the New York Knicks who have won championships before, but they've not won since the 70s. So either way, you're going to have a new team to win this NBA title this year. So that's always fun for me.
It ain't going to be the Timberwolves, okay? Let's get that out the way. Oklahoma is beating the shit out of them.
I want the easier team for the Pacers if they win this. That's for sure.
It's going to be Oklahoma. It's going to be Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. All I know is the last time I couldn't tell you the last time when I could say this sentence and it be true.
Brandon.
The Indiana Pacers are 6 wins away from the NBA championship. So,
Brandon, did you watch that game with the Knicks?
No, I seen the highlights.
Okay, if you watch that game against the Knicks were outscoring the Pacers in the fourth quarter
and blew a 14-point lead.
Hold on a second, and they were like jumping up and down and they were cheering. And then
I thought it was over.
About a third of the way through the fourth quarter, they looked dead tired.
Well, but yeah,
like they looked gassed.
That's probably how let them come back.
And this adds to what I'm saying about Brandon. I'm not sure the Knicks are not exhausted yet.
Well, you got to remember at the end of game 1, too, Brunson got in big foul trouble too, so he was out some in the fourth as well. So
and that's the other part about this. That's the other thing I'm gonna bring up. Mm-hmm. Brunson has showed that he cannot handle Miles Turner and
stop
so
talking.
OG Anunoby is going to have to step up.
Yeah. Matt, stop. Just.
I'm not jinxing anything, Eric.
I hope not, but we won't know.
I'm not jinxing anything. I'm not making any.
I know you're saying things that are true, but that's what I've done before in the past, and I've jinxed stuff. So I'm trying.
Eric,
I'm trying to help you.
Anything that's not true that the media
I know.
wouldn't agree with.
I never did either, but it still led to the exact opposite happening.
The thing that I think is ironic is the player. But the thing I think is ironic about this is the player that is going off for the Knicks. His name is OG Anunoby, and OG Anunoby.
Guy under center too is good.
OG Anunoby played basketball for Indiana basketball, so it's very ironic.
Well, I'd be happy for him, I guess. But as of right now,
Thomas Bryant, who's the center on the Pacers right now, played on the same team. Mm-hmm. So I thought that would be interesting.
Right on. In case you're wondering, we're now up to the Pacers lead 2-0, where game 3 is tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, during the same time Double or Nothing is on pay-per-view, and game 4 is on Tuesday night, and if needed, game 5, 6, and 7 are listed there as well. Let's see, we got a few chats here. Mike said, yes, it was Chris who bitch-slapped Brandon's team with 2 players on Thursday night game, that game.
It was my team.
Yeah, it was you, all right, no doubt.
That Cleveland team sucked.
Mike said, in case you care, the Timberwolves defeated the Thunder in Game 3 of their series, 143-101. Series is now tied 2-1. So for Thunder, so don't count the Wolves out just yet. Like I said, and the Knicks last one in '73. Their only other title was 1970, I believe. So yeah, it's been a while. And the Thunder when they were the Seattle Supersonics in 1979. So it's been a minute for the teams who've even won it before. So I would rather see somebody like the Pacers finally get one, though. I'm rooting for them. Let's hope it does go well. Win one for Jim Irsay, you know what I mean? But that definitely leads us to the last bit of sports news I wanted to talk about this week, and that is, of course, what we're doing tomorrow. We are going to the Indianapolis 500, the 109th running of the Indy 500. So yeah, I think Brandon Miranda said they've never been to the Indy 500 race. No, Miranda said she used to work at the racetrack.
I have never been to a race, period.
Okay.
I sent you a video of the track that I worked at.
Okay.
See if I can.
It's a road course, so it's definitely different. But they used to race the open wheel Indy cars too.
Extremely different.
See if I can find it. Was it on? Yeah, it's on Facebook. And okay.
So Brandon and Miranda, you guys have never seen the actual start of the Indy 500 or race.
Well, probably on television, I imagine, but
no, I didn't because when they aired it, I didn't get to see that part.
It is something that is also unique to the state of Indiana.
Mhm.
It is something that you have to at least witness once in your life. I was 7 years old the last time I went. I am an advocate race fan, and I love the races. Miranda, that looks awesome.
Yeah, this
Where
is
was
a
this
racetrack that Miranda worked at, so it's a cool road course.
It is that's a big road course too.
Yeah. Where's this at,
track
Miranda?
Mhm. That was Nelson Lynch's road course.
Okay.
No
Ohio, I'm
shit,
assuming.
Yeah.
Right on, right on.
It
That's
looks
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
cool.
Yeah, looks like a lot of fun. No doubt about it. But yeah,
It
this
looks a lot
obviously,
different now. Every corner had used to. I don't see any now, but like little pavilions that you would sit in.
That's kind of.
We'd have a headset, and every crash we would report and call for a tow truck or whatever.
Mhm.
That's really
that's,
cool.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never
Well-
seen a race.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole
outside-
lot of fan viewing.
Indy cars are very unique.
Well, you're in for a treat tomorrow. This is considered widely as well. They obviously call it the greatest spectacle in racing for a reason,
Yeah,
and a lot of people view it as the biggest race in the world.
it is
Um,
biggest race in the world. I'll interrupt you, Eric.
Put it this way. As of right now, well, before we get into that, I guess Casey Foyt Ursay, another one of Jim Ursay's daughters, has been named honorary starter for the 500. She will wave the green flag to get the race underway in honor of her father, Jim. So
Mhm.
that's really cool to see as well for the city of Indianapolis. But as of right now, the grandstands are completely sold out, which means if you were
Oh.
watching it from home, you will be allowed to watch this race live. You don't have to wait on delay so they can sell the tickets. So you will be able to watch it live as it happens. And because of the grandstands being sold out, they are expecting upwards of 350,000 people there tomorrow.
Oh,
That doesn't surprise me.
So you think Colts games are packed?
Oh,
times
All
that
right,
by
my anxiety just went through the fucking roof.
yeah.
it doesn't really feel.
Oh.
The only time you really feel it is when you're leaving the track, because it takes like an hour and a half or more to get out,
Mhm.
because you got all the drunk people walking around and stuff like that.
I cannot wait to people watch tomorrow. by
Oh,
the way.
that's going to be great on the way home.
you're
That's
good
one of
to
our favorite
people
pastimes
watch.
is to people watch, no doubt about it.
Can't wait to
Um,
people.
And yeah, so that's going to be a lot of
Oh,
fun. But yeah, 350,000 folks. So yeah, it's obviously many countries are involved in this. Multiple drivers from the United States of America, including Joseph Newgarden and Ryan Hunter-Reay, Kyle Larson, Alexander Rossi, Ed Carpenter, Marco Andretti, which is one of Matt's favorites, I believe,
I love Marco
and plenty
Andretti.
Connor, some big names there that I've seen before.
I gotta
and-
pick a driver to root for.
I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not wearing the Andretti stuff tomorrow because I do believe in the Andretti curse.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to wear the Andretti stuff tomorrow. I am going to wear a Team Penske driver. I will let you guys know that.
Yeah, I don't even know which ones are Penske and which ones ain't. So
Okay.
you're gonna have to explain. I just watch the cars go around and drink beer.
Okay. the Verizon and the Shell gasoline cars that are always 1 and 2 on the podium.
Okay.
So I am bandwagoning again tomorrow.
The only one who's going to speak your language is Horton tomorrow. I got a feeling. So,
Probably.
so
But
yeah.
it's okay. I want to be there because I want to see Brandon Miranda's reaction to the race because
Mhm.
it is something that you have to see at least once in your lifetime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely worth it. At least I've gone multiple times now.
I love going.
Sometimes to me it feels the same, but at the same time I still like going. It's just a lot of fun to do it.
I go to Fast
I need to
Friday.
pick a driver and a car. I gotta have.
Well, if you
somebody.
want the Americans, here's the Americans. If you want to see them real quick.
Yeah.
Did
like I
Pat
said-
have anybody on this week, Brandon?
No, I got to check. See,
Well, there
that's
you
who I
go.
cheered for last time, and he almost fucking won. By the way,
Ryan Hunter-Reay's won when I've been there. I mean, there's
Hey,
Hey,
Santino
is he going to
Ferrucci
be
is
there
the one-
tomorrow?
Santino
Yeah,
Ferrucci
I'm
is
sure.
the one that Miranda will root for. I know that right away because it's the American flag car.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pat is there. I'm not gonna lie to
Okay,
you.
we'll go. with that.
There'll be a lot of celebrities and stuff. You may not see them personally, but you'll hear about them in the starting grid and stuff for sure.
oh, really?
But yeah, so
I know Tom Brady will be there.
Tom Brady, I think, is supposed to be in the fast car or something like that. Is it like a pace car
Yes.
type situation?
Because the only reason I know this
Jimmy
is
Johnson, I think, is
because
driving it, if I'm not mistaken.
a friend of ours from work that works at the track is guarding.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I saw that picture.
He gets
Um,
to escort all.
Hey,
the
I have
celebrities.
those binoculars, Brandon. We could take them.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Might be all right.
yeah, we should take those.
Yeah, I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see where my mouse is. That's kind of where we're sitting right here.
Okay.
If the seats are still the same, so you'll see him come off turn 4 coming into the.
Hold
you
on,
know,
I can't see her
sorry.
now. So let me.
Okay, we're
let
gonna
me-
be by the pits.
Did you see right here where I'm wiggling it?
Oh, I
That's
didn't know we were sitting there, Eric. I thought we were
You're up
gonna be-
underneath
Oh,
the
right up
stand.
there. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll see everyone come off
Well-
4 pit road, and then obviously head down the home stretch.
Where do they put tents and stuff up at?
in the infield.
Yeah, there's a lot of space inside the actual oval, which I'll show you here in just a second. 'Cause
Massive.
the actual track, it looks like this.
Okay.
We're
Well-
kind of like
Big.
right in here where we're sitting. But yeah, this whole open area is
Okay. Okay.
concerts and all sorts of crazy stuff.
If you'll notice over there's a golf course
Oh yeah, there's a
The
whole golf
inside
course
of
in here.
on the
Put it this
inside of
way.
the
There's a
track.
golf course in there.
There's
Yeah,
a golf
this track
course
is
on
so
the inside
big.
of the track,
Think of it this
Brandon.
way. This
This
track
is
is
what
so
it is.
massive
Now-
that you could. Yeah, go ahead. She's taking this in. No, this track is so big, you could legitimately fit Yankee Stadium, the
Yeah.
White House, the Roman Coliseum, the Rose Bowl Stadium, Liberty Island, the Taj Mahal, Churchill Downs, and Vatican City all inside this track.
It
Holy
takes about,
shit!
it takes about 4 minutes for each of them to go around.
Yeah, roughly. A little
Roughly.
less maybe for Indy.
Is this
That's
where they
like-
hold the light thing? The Christmas lights?
No,
Not sure.
not sure about that, Miranda.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Are you
But-
sure?
I mean,
I think
I'd
it is.
you might be
we,
right.
We drove through it, Brandon, to see the Christmas lights. It was huge.
Okay, I could see that.
Did
Yeah.
it have a giant
No,
tower in the
babe,
middle of
I
it,
don't-
Miranda?
I don't know. It was dark too. I couldn't see.
I believe so.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it was dark.
Yeah, this giant tower is kind of hard to miss, for
Yeah,
sure.
The pagoda is very hard to miss.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun though. I think you guys and not only that, it's supposed to be almost perfect weather, like 66 degrees. Might be a little chilly even up in the grandstands a little bit with some wind coming in, but it might not be too bad. But it's better than we sat in turn 4 here one year without any shade in 100-degree weather.
Oh no, you
for
got it.
NASCAR.
Nah,
That was terrible.
that's a little
but-
much.
Yeah, but we've been sitting underneath
no.
these stands here, and it's been a lot better. Even if it were to rain a little bit or something, you're
Mhm.
covered from that, and there's a lot of cover in behind there for the
Yep.
concessions and stuff. So in the bathrooms, so yeah, it's actually.
Damn, that place.
But yeah, and just think, this is just like a quarter of the track. So all these people, I mean, there's not stands all the way around, but there's some toward the camera here and off to the around. But then there's a little gap in there. But yeah, there's a
Eric,
lot of people in the infield.
Do you
sitting in
know
the
if
grass
there's
and stuff.
pit stalls in front of us?
Oh yeah, there'll be a few.
Oh
But
my
it's
God,
usually it's the back
Brandon, you have
it's the
to-
back of the line though. You're not gonna see the guys up front.
Brandon, you
Oh.
have to see the pit stops. Pit stops
yeah.
are
Sometimes, especially
nuts.
they come in the pits, they get a little squirrely, going in too fast.
Insane.
So it's pretty crazy. And turn 4, obviously, is where you'll see the final battle coming down the home stretch for the win. So that's always cool to watch as well,
Ah, man,
and
I
for the
know.
start. So it's gonna be a lot of
Yeah,
fun. I think you guys will
absolutely.
enjoy it, no doubt about it. Let's get into a couple chats here. Mike said back in the day, my dad and brother would listen to the race on the radio. First one I remember hearing was 1987 race.
That's a long
That
time
race,
ago.
sadly, was the one where a spectator was killed when a tire flew into
Yes.
the stands from a crash and struck the fan in the head. Holy! We were at a race a couple of years
Yes.
ago where the tire went into the stands and hit the windshield of a car, and that lady got good treatment from the owner of the track and everything. But
Kyle
she was
Kirkwood's
okay.
tire got loose.
Yeah, that was crazy. Aaron said, before I go AFK away from keyboard, I just wanted to say, if no one has told you guys today, F you. So I'm sure you got that from Brandon.
Yep. F you too, Aaron.
Why
And
is
Sarah
Aaron
said,
on?
same to you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where Aaron's at now. Maybe just study chat tonight.
Because I said that to Aaron
Aaron
one day.
just seems like he's mad today.
Yeah.
I said that to Aaron one day. I walked up to him and I was like, "Yo, Aaron, real quick.
Uh-huh.
I know a lot's going on, and like you busting your ass, man. You doing all this work." I was like,
He does
"Nobody
this.
said this to you at all. Fuck you." And then I walked away.
He does this all the time.
Well, it was funny too because we got our D&D game and stuff that we try to do every so often, and I knew this was going to happen. I hadn't heard anything about it because we scheduled like a little over a month or two ago. Hadn't heard anything else about it, so I made other plans for today. Right. Well, 2 days after I had mentioned it in the chat, still hadn't heard anything. He finally brings it up after I already made other plans. And I'm like, okay, well, I think I could be back for the game. And then today, I guess because of Brandon's probably stuff with the lawnmower we talked about earlier, probably what didn't have much on that one. But at the same time, I was like, I knew it was going to happen. As soon as I made other plans, I knew it was going to happen. Somebody they'd be like, we're going to play. So we're going to play next week. But it was funny too, because we were talking about it. He was trying to finalize the plans and he was texting me about it. It was just me and Aaron. And I asked him, I was like, are you talking to everybody else by themselves? He's like, yeah. I was like, why not put everybody in a group chat so we can talk about it together? He's like, oh, I just feel like people were tired of group chats. I'm like, What?
Brother,
I'm
I'm
like-
so many chats.
I mean, I just ignore the ones that we don't use or something. So I was like, is Aaron, are you okay, Aaron? I was like, is everything cool? You know, like I think he's fine, but it's just like, I mean, I kind of get it. Sometimes you're in group chats and you don't want it to go off when people text in the middle of the night, like Matt. But
Oh,
anyway,
Um,
so yeah.
Sorry,
Anyway,
guys.
I know.
gotta,
If it's late at night and the group
Uh-huh.
chat the thing goes off of the group chat, I know for a fact who it is.
uh-huh.
So I
Yeah.
don't even look. I'm like, I'll get it in the morning. I'm not.
Well, it's like
about-
Nate says too. Like,
Well-
I know one of our fancy football players went through about him texting him late at night. Nate's like, "Well, just put it on silent so you don't hear it." That's what I
Yeah.
do when I go to bed. I turn it on vibrate, and I don't see it till the morning. So sorry.
Well, Eric,
That's just the way it
the reason why I chat to Brandon is because I know Brandon's at work.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, that's
why,
fine with
why
me.
why do you text me my name first? Like, bro, if you're texting me, I obviously know you want me. Like,
Well, because I don't know if you're there. I don't know if you're going to answer.
what does that mean? You can just send your message.
Well, you have to at least respond to me. Otherwise, there's no point in sending the message.
he wants to make
exactly.
sure you're going to engage with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Because
that's
if
what he
you
does
just
to me.
leave me on ignore, then I'm not going to text.
You go, it'll be like Brandon, and then I'll be like, what? And then just send your fucking
This
message.
is going to be a
Sometimes I'll
long
go,
car ride
"What,
tomorrow,
Matthew?"
Eric. This is
Yeah.
going to be a long
It's
car
gonna be-
ride.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why do
Oh,
you text me
no.
my name?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We got a couple other chats that I get into. We got a new commenter here, Ultimaka. Is that how I pronounce that right? It says hi and said, "Do you guys believe in monsters?" I don't know.
Okay.
We guess a random kind of question, but we
What
guess
you
we can
mean?
answer that. I gotta believe in monsters in regards to maybe certain people, which
So
we might
here's
talk a
the
little bit
thing.
about here in a little bit. But as in
Bigfoot's
actual monsters in
probably
the
real.
closet or under the bed, no.
I have never seen Bigfoot, but at the same time, I can't say that I can't.
Everybody in Linton has a silhouette of one.
Bruh.
Yeah. Bro,
Me and Nate Dizzle had a conversation about this one day, and he said the same shit that I said. It's the same way I feel about ghosts. I can't say they don't exist because I never seen one, but there's evidence that says otherwise. Like,
yeah, that is true. I've seen some creepy videos, but I mean,
Yeah.
videos can be faked, but for the most part, I mean, a lot of those are pretty legit. So
gotta
I
think
don't
about,
know.
like,
I'm not saying they don't exist, but you know,
there's plenty of stories from back in the day, especially from native tribes and shit that talk about stuff like that. Like, I ain't never seen one, but at the same time, I don't want to. So
I'm thinking about using this new function. I may have to change the little setup here if we do, but they've got this new function here on there where you can like have the chat just go live on the screen. You can kind of see it here in the bottom right. I don't know if it'll pop up now or not, but because some of these coming in live are pretty funny. Mike said, you all like racing. Why aren't you guys doing a fantasy racing league? Well, I don't know enough about it to probably.
No.
I did it in NASCAR
Uh-uh.
once and then didn't do a very good job with it. That's just me personally.
No,
I think Matt's been in some though.
I have been in, and they're not for you guys.
I got that's messed up. Baseball's probably not for me either. And he also said, Mike said we have Matt, so we obviously do believe in trolls. That's for sure. But yeah, did we lose Brandon? What happened here? Or did he just disappear on his own?
No, he
I think
disappeared.
He disappeared on his own. All right, he'll come back.
Yeah.
So we'll bring him back here in a little bit. But yeah, well, Ultimaha, that's how Ramaka. That's how you say it. If you have a question, fire it in. We'll check. If we get to a point in the show where like we get too many commenters, we may have to not answer everybody's question all the time. But we'll do our best if we get a lot of people watching. By the way, we got 51 people watching us. If you've not watched this before, please comment below and definitely hit the like and subscribe button. Follow us on Rumble. Do all that good jazz. You guys know the drill. Shouldn't have to tell you. Come on, guys. As always, let's end the show with a little bit of news and politics. You good with that? Ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's
Yep,
bring
yep.
it. Here we go.
Make America great again.
All right. The always loved, ever controversial, widely anticipated news and politics section. There we go. We got Mike popping up there. I don't know if I'll leave that on. If we do, I might end up having to change the overlay a little bit. We'll have to see. Mike said, don't know about monsters, but I've seen some pretty scary things in Linton back in the day. Absolutely. Yeah, as Miranda said, everybody's got a silhouette of a monster in Linton. No doubt about it. I don't know if I like that comment thing right there, right now, but maybe if we work into the show later, but I don't know. I kind of like bringing them up one at a time too, so we can focus on them. But anywho. All right, well, let's get into this so we can get out of here before it gets too late, as it were. In the world of news and politics, for those of you who are just finding us for the very first time, we are definitely Trump supporters here on the channel. So if you don't like that, that's perfectly fine and acceptable. But we just ask that you be civil about any conversation you may have. And if you don't like our opinions, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to watch or agree with us. That's absolutely true. But we don't want to have any, real nasty debate or, anything like that. We just ask that you keep it civil, no doubt about it. But this week, this whole Joe Biden scandal just gets worse and worse. Following the bombshell Robert Hur audio being released, as well as Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's new book, Original Sin, being released, both of which we covered last week on the podcast. If you're interested in what our thoughts on that, you can go check that out. It was revealed last Sunday that Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer, which has metastasized into his bones, stage 4 cancer, as it were, which is usually terminal. This is definitely sad news. This was put out by Donald Trump Jr. himself, saying that Joe Biden has been diagnosed with cancer. Politics aside, we wish him a speedy recovery. And I'd like to think that I can speak for everybody here on the channel that we don't wish ill will on the man. I don't. But at the same time, I'm going to say this. I don't think he's a particularly good man. Two things can be true at once, in my opinion. So,
and he was lying about it. If it's this far along, he had it before, and they lied.
Yeah.
He had to have under his presidency.
And he wasn't the only one who lied about this. It's clear at this point.
And if they would have, if they would have treated him, it would have probably killed him because he is so far gone anyway. But did they not treat him because they didn't want the public to know? There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, and I'm going to get into a little bit of that here. We got Donald Trump's response saying, Melania and I are sad to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family and wish Joe a fast and successful recovery. So Donald Trump definitely saying the right things there. But it is the timing of this announcement. It's awfully sus to me. Anyone else? With everything that came out over the last week, Biden himself even said back in 2002, while he was president, this was kind of, pushed under the rug at the time. But 2022, he said he had cancer. Listen to this.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't, for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
And remember, the media called that a gaffe at the time because he flat out said, I have cancer. But again, you don't believe your lying ears, apparently, in this case. But again, he wasn't senile or, going through dementia, according to the media. But he just, oops, he screwed that up, Nope, he was actually telling the truth there from the looks of things. We also got this video discussing a statement from the Biden family when Joe Biden dropped out in July of 2024 from the presidential race. Listen to what they said his brother said about Joe Biden dropping out of the race.
CBS News had a brief conversation with Frank Biden, one of President Biden's 2 younger brothers. And here's what he told us. He said, I'm incredibly proud of my brother. Selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. He is a genuine hero. Country over self. It sounds corny in our cynical political environment, but he nor I are cynical. The goal remains the same: defeat Trump. And
which they did not do. But yeah, the big important part there is, selfishly, we will have him back to enjoy the time we have left with Joe. That was the statement from Frank Biden, Joe Biden's brother at the time. So again, this whole media narrative that they're trying to spin that they just found out this week that Joe Biden had cancer cannot be true. It can't be, ladies and gentlemen. And this is just a couple of instances where that is the case. But despite those clips, the family statement made it seem like they just found out this last Friday. Does anyone with 2 brain cells actually believe they found out this last Friday after I just showed you that? Anybody else?
No.
So most doctors are now coming out and
Nope.
saying there's no way the White House and the Biden family didn't know before this week. This doctor states that prostate cancer is the easiest cancer to diagnose when it first starts and to watch it progress to bone metastasis. The PSA blood test shows the rate of cancer cell growth for even with the most aggressive form that Joe Biden supposedly has. It is a 5 to 7 year journey without treatment before it becomes metastatic, meaning the cancer spreading to the bone. Meaning it would be a malpractice for this patient to show up and be first diagnosed with metastatic, I guess I'm pronouncing that right, disease in May 2025. It is highly likely he was carrying a diagnosis of prostate cancer throughout his White House tenure, and the American people were uninformed of this matter, likely before he even ran to be president against Donald Trump in 2016 or 2020. So how long did they know? Who knew? Who kept it under wraps? Sounds like everyone, including the media at this point. Now the media may not have known about the cancer part of it. I think they knew about the dementia part of it full bore.
Now, there is one possible explanation. We all know they have body doubles.
Mhm.
I don't care. Like, that's not a conspiracy. They have body doubles.
Mhm.
So maybe they sent the double for the exam and they didn't catch it. But that is the only way they couldn't have caught it.
Yeah. I mean, possibly. But there were also reports going around that he hadn't had a PSA test since 2014. And there were some people saying, well, you're not supposed to give them to people after the age of 70. This guy is the most monitored individual on the planet. I have a hard time buying that. Especially the idea that the older you get, the less you test. That doesn't make logical sense to me. But yeah, I mean, if you tested him in 2014, this guy was tested for everything under the sun. I promise you. Otherwise, this doctor was completely full of malpractice, whether he was full of malpractice or lying about the diagnoses, either way, he's got to go. And I don't think he's working for the Trump administration, but he can't work for the White House ever again, in my opinion. So yeah, but how much of this announcement was to draw away the attention away from the Robert Hur audio that we played last week that showed that he indeed did suffer from cognitive decline, and of course to sway away from the Jake Tapper book that reveals more about the auto pen stuff, which we're going to get to just a second. So again, it's like they announced this on purpose to say, no, you can't talk about that because the poor guy's got cancer. It's inappropriate, you see, to talk about that because it would be not moral at this point. But no, we can walk and chew gum at the same time, in my opinion. We can also question and at the same time show respect for him as a human being, even though sometimes, in my opinion, that's harder than not based on some of his past actions. But that's just my opinion. Democrats, as I said, are saying it is inappropriate to question those things, do investigations, and even so much as bring up that something doesn't smell right, because we have to respect the situation and show sympathy for the cancer diagnosis. This is how they deter you from looking into their lies and their deception, ladies and gentlemen. Here is Hakeem Jeffries saying just that.
My expectation that President Biden is going to meet this moment with the courage and resilience that he's consistently shown. Seems to me entirely inappropriate that at this moment in time, when President Biden is dealing with the form of cancer, there are Republicans who are peddling conspiracy theories and want us to look backward at a time when they actually are taking health care away from the American people.
They're not.
No, as House Democrats, we're going to look forward. They literally.
So, we're not allowed to look backward. In other words, don't look at our deception. Don't look at our lies. That's what he's saying here. I mean, and we'll get into the Medicaid.
So there's a slight possibility that he dies before anything with the auto pen comes out anymore. And that, it goes away with Biden's death, because if he used the auto pen or authorized the auto pen for the pardons, then they have to stick, right? So there's that.
Right. Sorry, I missed part of that. My internet dropped. What'd you say?
I said that if he dies before the rest of the stuff with the auto pen comes out, like he can't testify that.
Oh, that he
didn't
approved it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that. Hopefully, that's not the play to kill him. But at the same time, I mean they obviously had hopes that even if he got reelected, that which we'll talk about in a second, of Kamala winning, and that's how she got in by just letting her take over for him. So yeah, that's terrible. Mike said in chat, "Good Lord, it's 11:30 and you guys got to politics. Earliest I've gotten to bed during this great show I ever I think. We're trying to wrap up early tonight because of the race tomorrow, so that's partially why we're pushing it a little bit. But so yeah, I know, Mike, and you just texted me. You need to remember my final farewell. I just said it." He texts me when I don't get to it right away. I understand. We're already started in the politics too, brother. So
He's a needy fan, I tell you.
yeah, exactly. Very needy. Hey, he's our one loyal. Slaughter is too. But
we got to take care of him. I get it. But.
Mike. He adds to the show so much, so we appreciate it, no doubt. But anyway, so first of all, Hakeem Jeffries, he's lying when he said Republicans and Trump are trying to take health care from Americans. Okay, this is what the truth is about the Medicare and Medicaid cuts. Okay. What's actually happening here is no Medicaid for illegal aliens is what's being proposed. Now, I don't know how many times we have to say this. Illegal aliens are not United States citizens, so they are not entitled to welfare benefits either. So if this is what Democrats mean by taking away Medicaid from Americans, that's a very twisted way of looking at it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, no Medicaid for able-bodied adults who refuse to do minimal work. That's what's being proposed in the big, beautiful bill that Trump's trying to get passed. So, in other words, free ride is over for the freeloaders. Time to get to work like the rest of us. The big, beautiful bill Jeffries is referring to simply proposes work requirements for able-bodied people receiving Medicaid and Medicare. Sounds fair to me. I don't know about you. But people who are disabled and are not able-bodied, they still get the benefits, even without the work requirements. So what's the controversy here? But the media don't tell you that. They just want you to believe, oh, Trump's trying to take away welfare benefits. It's not happening. So, sorry, Mike, I didn't see that other chat that you sent. He said another one says, "Be safe, have fun at the race, acknowledge me." So acknowledge the tribal chief and the one true loyal listener. But no, I didn't see that one, Mike. I didn't see it, so my bad. I apologize.
I didn't see it either.
Yeah, it must not have came through. So anyway, but anyway, thanks for watching, buddy. We appreciate it. So what's wrong with putting able-bodied adults to work? You just can't be lazy all your life and just live off welfare. That's not fair to anybody else who actually does their job. I fail to see the controversy here. I really don't. Number three, no Medicaid for sex change operations on children, which the federal government and our taxpayer dollars should not be funding to begin with. Shouldn't be, funding adults either. I don't know if that's part of the big, beautiful bill or not. I think it is. But yeah, I mean, sex change operations, you want it, you pay for it. Simple as that. I mean, that's just my opinion on it. But this is what the left is mad about and trying to spin into they're taking away Medicaid from U.S. citizens. It's the same way the leftist media is currently trying to claim that Trump stopped funding for cancer research. No, he did not stop funding for cancer research. He removed fraud, waste, and abuse that prevented the actual cancer research from being done. In both cases, this is just common sense, ladies and gentlemen. So stop believing the Democrats, the left-wing media, your liberal buddies who are uninformed because all they do is watch CNN. Okay. This isn't hard. You just got to look into it. But second of all, they want us to show sympathy for Joe Biden and his cancer thing from the same people who were cheering on 86-47 just last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Compassion.
Belief, unlike Joe Biden, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can have humanity and sympathy for a human being, albeit an evil one, and want to get to the bottom of the lies and deceit that were perpetuated by the previous administration in covering up Biden's health and mental state, as well as the potential fraudulent auto pen decisions that may be null and void if the president was not in charge of his own faculties. Don't tell me that Republicans cannot investigate because of this diagnosis. That's an excuse to cover up Democrat corruption, which is exactly the plan of releasing this cancer diagnosis now. Do you guys disagree with that?
No.
I mean, that timing was for a reason. I mean, simple as that.
Yep.
I mean, so no, the defense strategy should not work. It's a poor defensive tactic, in my opinion. But they're kind of on the ropes, and they got really nothing else to talk about here. But what really pisses me off most about this, though, is the fact that the Democrats knew he had terminal cancer, and not only kept it from the American people during his presidency, and they ran him for re-election, knowing full well he'd likely die in his second term. And that's how they plan to get radical Kamala Harris into office, because they knew no one would vote for her. You know how I know that no one would vote for her? Because after the disastrous debate happened, when they could no longer ignore Biden's mental decline, they selected Kamala to be the candidate without a primary vote. Foregoing the process of giving the American people a choice, and then we wholeheartedly rejected her at the ballot box, just as they feared. Call that a crazy conspiracy theory all you want. Exactly like that's what happened.
Yep.
So, I mean, let's be honest here. You know, it's disgusting and goes against our democracy that they claim to cherish so much to not hold a primary, in my opinion. Bring on the subpoenas and jail these traitors, all of them. Every politician, staff member, doctor, media personality who knew about Joe Biden's dementia, his cancer, all of it, and covered it up. And the media is just as guilty of it, even more so than probably a lot of people in the White House staff, because they did it day in and day out. White House staff just kept quiet, which was bad enough. But yeah. So, yeah, any other thoughts on that cover up?
Nope.
If they covered this up, what else is there to cover up?
Oh, yeah. This is probably only scratching the surface, especially when it comes to the Biden administration. And a few other things leaked out this week, too, which we'll talk about in a minute. But, yeah. But let's get into the auto pen situation here. Who was actually running the country the last 4 years? Whistleblower and DOJ pardon attorney Ed Martin. And according to Jake Tapper's book itself, they both stated essentially 5 people were running the country. And of those 5 people, at best, Joe Biden was a member on the board of directors, so to speak. And with that likely came forged signatures in the form of auto pen. That same auto pen machine signed signature appears on pardons for the likes of Anthony Fauci and Mark Milley, among others. Insiders have named Ron Klain, Anita Dunn, Bob Bauer, Steve Ricchetti, and Jill Biden herself as the 5 who were the most in charge at the White House, while some are even lawyering up at this point. House Representative
I think
James
they're
Comer,
missing a name.
Yeah, I'm about to get to what I think we were talking about. House Representative James Comer calls it the biggest scandal in United States history. From the cover-up of dementia, the Biden cancer diagnosis, and now the auto pen, this scandal is larger than Watergate. It really is, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't think so, you
Trump
need to
tried to tell people 4 years ago
Right.
all of this
Yeah.
is bigger than fucking Watergate.
Oh, but these are all crazy conspiracy theories that are now proving to be true. Yes, Trump
You gonna
calls it
talk about the
treason.
myocarditis?
Yeah, yes, we are.
Mhm.
Trump
Okay.
called it treason for this here, but yeah, we're gonna get to that too. Many are saying that Hunter Biden was influencing decisions a lot as well. Was that the name you're thinking of, or is there a different one? I got one more.
No, I was thinking Obama was running things.
And I guarantee another person right there in my notes with influence was Obama, after he was on record all the way back at the end of his second term saying this. If you've never seen this clip, perk your ears up, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is. Y'all worried about Trump 2028? Listen to Obama wanting a third term back at the end of his second term.
Right. People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
You'd be fine with that, huh? Okay. But y'all are getting mad at Trump talking about how, I've been asked to run for a third term. Now, I don't believe I could do it. But a lot of people are asking me. Nobody flipped their shit when Obama said this. So who's to say he was not involved with this board of directors type approach when it comes to Joe Biden's presidency? And Joe was just sitting in a corner drooling while Jill, Hunter, Obama, and these other officials were making the decisions for him. We need to look into that and find out. But the Democrats say it's inappropriate to ask these questions right now. I say screw that. completely screw that. So yeah, y'all are concerned about a Trump dictatorship. Obama or not, this was a bunch of unelected, no-name individuals pulling the strings behind the scenes, running this country while countless things were signed and approved in the vegetable in chief's name. Unbeknownst to him. But sure, Trump is the problem. Why would you ever trust the Democrats or left-wing media after this ever again? And the right tried to tell you, like Miranda said, all along for years. Chalk another one up for conspiracy theorists, I guess. But big time. At some point, conspiracy theorists are just truth tellers about 6 months ahead of everybody else.
So I was listening to a Badlands show today. I think it was last night's Liberty Den. And they were talking about the day they all lost their YouTubes. CanCon was monetized for 2 months before he lost it. He made like $10,000 each month. But it was, I think it was November 15th of 20, or no, I don't remember the exact date, but it was the day the Hunter Biden laptop came out. All of my internet conspiracy theory friends got canned from YouTube on the same day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they
were
were trying so hard to suppress it, and they, I guess, won.
Yeah. And that's the thing, if you even so much as question the official story that was given to you by the media or the Democrats or the Biden White House, you were silenced, kicked off YouTube, X, Twitter at the time, which is why it was so important that Elon bought X, because if he didn't, they'd still be silencing folks. Facebook too. Mark Zuckerberg literally come out in the last few months and said, yeah, the Biden White House told me to censor shit. Now, he shouldn't have done it, but he did.
But he did it anyway.
Yeah. So again,
bought
guys,
paid for by the CCP.
And I think once Trump got elected, he was trying to get on Trump's good side, which is why it came out.
But
which is kind of what's happening with Jake Tapper now. Now that Biden's out of office, let's make a little money off of it. That's what Jake Tapper's thinking right now, despite the fact that he's completely complicit in the lie. So let's get into Jake Tapper and this book. Let's hear this lady's opinion on it. Plus, let's watch Megyn Kelly absolutely rip Jake Tapper a new one and how he was complicit in the lies covering up Joe Biden's dementia as well.
Megyn Kelly destroyed Jake Tapper on her show because Tapper's out here grifting with a new book, pretending now to come clean about Joe Biden's health issues and how the media and Democrats help cover it up. But folks, if you recall, Tapper himself was a part of one of the biggest cover-ups in American history. So if you want to see Tapper get destroyed by Megyn Kelly, here are just some of the highlights.
Obviously, I feel tremendous humility about my coverage, that Laura Trump interview, for example, et cetera. She saw something that I did not see
and we played
at
that
the
last
time.
For you.
No,
he promised you that he would be transparent about his health records, and then he wasn't. And when you sat with him again,
at all,
including 1 month after the Jackie Walorski thing, you didn't ask him about it. You didn't follow up on the fact that he was falling up the stairs, that he was losing his train of thought regularly, that he was slurring, that he was incomprehensible, that he was getting lost on the White House lawn. You sat right across from him and you asked none of that. There is a way of pressing a man like that on the actual infirmities to bring it home to him and to the audience, and you didn't do it.
That's correct. I didn't. And like I said, I feel humility about my coverage. I mean,
do you want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
And what did she say?
Did you?
I mean, I don't want to disclose the contents of a private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And she has said this publicly, so I feel fine sharing it. She said that she would never mock anybody's stutter. But I mean, after we did the research for this book, and I realized how bad his acuity issues were,
you knew.
I called Laura Trump and I said, you were right.
And now
That's
for you guys
not
to write this
accurate.
book like there was a cover up, it's like there was a cover up and there was an attempted cover up. It could only ever work if you allowed.
Tapper's out here grifting with this new book, so make sure you don't actually purchase it because he shouldn't be rewarded for his behavior.
Exactly. Don't reward him for his behavior. I mean, because the more you do this, the more they're going to do it.
Why is it that I feel like this, all this, it's like, oh man, he's got a health issue. Now everyone's like, Oh, you were right. You were right.
We were duped. We didn't know.
You should have known this shit to start with.
Every media outlet was lying about this, except for media outlets like Fox News. I know a lot of people on the left like to say, "Oh, well, Fox News is just a conspiracy theorist. All they do is lie." They were the only ones outside of other right-wing media that's not as well known who were reporting correctly about this, right? But y'all want to rip on them like, oh, they had that big lawsuit. Every media company's had a lawsuit at some point where they've not. And by the way, I don't think Fox was wrong about that either. I really don't. I do believe the election wasn't on the up and up. They were the only ones with the stones to say it. But yeah, I mean, Jake Tapper acting like he wasn't complicit in this is a complete and utter lie. Only to sell his book. Him and everybody he worked with did the same thing.
That's a load of crap.
And here's more about what that means, what Jake Tapper did and all the other left-wing media. The lies from the White House could only work if they were all in it together to aid the White House in keeping it quiet.
Why didn't Jake Tapper write this a year ago? Because he knows what would have happened. Somebody in the White House would have called up and said, Tapper, no one from CNN is going to get a seat at a press conference. There's not going to be any CNN interviews. So he backed down. And now, in a very cowardly fashion, now he comes out and he is blaming the White House cover-up. But what he doesn't tell us is the White House cover-up would have been impossible had not CNN, MSNBC, PBS, NBC, ABC, CBS all conspired with the White House staff to not just downplay Biden's cognitive decline, but attack people. Bottom line, they had more interest in protecting this left-wing administration who was using this waxen effigy of Joe Biden. And for someone's purposes, we don't know who was running the country, who was giving him the auto pin executive orders. We don't have no idea who those people are. We have a suspicion it was the Obama crowd.
And it seems to be that's becoming more and more the case the more we look into this. But the stations he listed here, all these are the ones you should not be watching. Because again, had all of these networks were not complicit with the lie, didn't peddle the lie, and kept quiet about what was going on, the lies from the White House would not have worked. If these journalists actually did their job and pressed all these White House staffers and the White House press secretary, Joe Biden himself, the family, everybody, the lies could not have worked. But they didn't do their jobs as journalists. And the ones who did, like Fox, were peddled to be, conspiracy theorists. Oh, they're just lying to make Trump look good, when the complete inverse was true. They were lying to make Biden look good. Well, these other companies, not Fox. So yeah, I mean, this is Victor David Hanson, in case you're wondering who he is, by the way. Yeah, absolutely on the nose. I mean, yeah, they're complicit for it. So yeah. So this whole we just found out about Biden's dementia and cancer now narrative, it's complete sugar honey iced tea. Okay.
It's one of the best jokes in that movie, by the way.
See you next Tuesday.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, any other thoughts on this cover-up that's going on currently, that is currently being exposed for the world to see, as us conspiracy theorists were proven right yet again?
I world to see, but at the same time,
they're still trying to act like it never happened.
You know what I mean?
We can't look. Yeah, they're still trying to act like, well, we can't look back. We shouldn't look back. Trump's the president now. So I don't know how much people are actually seeing it, but
they
you know what?
Go ahead.
We're still mad about 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go back. We're gonna circle all the way back to 2020 here real soon.
Good. That's the thing. That's the thing. If you don't hold them accountable for their past, they're just going to keep doing it in the future.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. They will say, "Oh, it's Trump retribution." No, it's holding you accountable to the crimes that you did to Trump and the American people this whole time. So yeah, we have to go back a bit. I mean, it's not too far back, to be honest. But yeah, it's like everybody this week. What were they trying to say? They were like, "Oh, you can't, raid these people and all this stuff," but yet they're raiding Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. You can't throw these people in jail. But it's such hypocrisy, man. It's like, get out of here. But you're weaponizing the. You guys did it already. Stop it. But anyhow, this one I thought I'd bring up because I know Miranda mentioned it last week a little bit. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. I know last week Miranda, and don't be wrong, I tend to trust these guys. I do. But I said last week too that I'm a little wait and see approach with the Department of Justice and things like that about actually holding people accountable right now, because so far not many people have been brought to account yet. They went on, I guess, did an interview where they flat out said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. Pat,
so I'm going to stop you for 1 second because I heard this right after, and I'm like, son of a bitch! I just told Eric I trust these two with my.
I wondered if you saw that. Yeah, it was like literally a day after we did the show.
But I'm going to let you go on, and then I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what.
I really don't have a whole lot else to add. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it because Kash Patel did say they have a right to their opinion, talking about people who don't believe they committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
You know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was. And even Dan Bongino himself, who on his podcast and stuff has been an big proponent of, we need to find out what was really going on. Even he said, he killed himself. I've seen the whole file. He killed himself. And this guy was like the biggest skeptic on this.
Okay.
So I want your thoughts on it. That's all.
Now remember.
Mm-hmm.
They're covering up everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the people, the officers, whoever investigated that lied. They covered it up from one end to the other. So currently that case file says, yes, he killed himself. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's some kind of evidence in there that proves it. Now, Dan Bongino says, if presented with new evidence, we will look into it. So that right there should tell you, hold on, guys, we have to reopen it, but we need a reason why we have to reopen it. So they have to do everything by the book. So it sticks. So Dan Bongino has been telling us for years, he did not kill himself. Kash Patel did not kill himself. They're doing it by the book now.
Okay. Well, I hope that is true.
And I'm sure there are people investigating it, and we're going to learn.
Bongino's podcast. I believe the guy. I mean, I trust the guy. I should say.
Fingers crossed.
So if that, but I've also heard a lot of people talking about how we may never truly know, but or deep state factors that will keep this in forever. But would the truth be more damaging than covering it up? That I've also heard that thought thrown out there because, like, there's a lot of talk about how Israel was involved with the Epsteins and stuff like. So how much of that could be why they've seen the truth of it now? Like, well, we can't let this out now. I don't know.
Well, I don't believe he's dead.
Yeah.
So I believe that he's in witness protection. Because I mean, he died during Trump's administration. I don't see, and Q's conspiracy here. Q says if the lights go out, know that we're in control. Well, the power went out at the jail that night.
Yeah, the cameras went out, all that as conveniently.
Yeah, they had a power outage and stuff. Yeah. So I think he went into witness protection. And that maybe him, okay, so Joe Biden, I believe, turned on him too eventually. And that's why we're here, with him having cancer now.
Right.
But I bet Epstein is still alive.
All I know is this is something.
And maybe that's how Bongino says, well, I was wrong.
It definitely made a lot of MAGA and Trump supporters go, wait a minute, whoa, these guys, it's not something they would normally say. So it's at least, if nothing else, something to keep an eye on.
And then that's,
yeah.
Yeah. And I always talk about Badlands. John wrote Devolution. They are so, they think outside the box on everything. Burning Bright has a whole series, Righteous Russia. You would learn so much about Russia and Putin and all that. Like, and then there's Ghost of Base Patrick Henry, who could tell you all about Israel and that situation. So when these guys talk about it, I tend to listen because they get it right a lot.
I mean, my trust in them is not shaken. It's just I heard this and I was like, okay, this is going to cause some waves. But I just thought I'd bring it up because I know you mentioned them last week, and it is funny that you said, yeah, I just said that I trust them. Yeah, exactly. So time will tell on this one, but it was definitely shocking to a lot of folks, and I personally don't believe he did kill himself now, and I think I'm in the majority in that one.
That shit was way too convenient for him to just kill himself.
Yeah,
Like,
again,
the way
if you
everything
killed yourself, the cameras go out at the exact time. That right there should go, something's up, if nothing else, So yeah, I mean, I just don't know if I buy it, but we'll see if something else happens. And hopefully, it's like Miranda said, once they get some new things to open it back up, they can. So let's hope they can do that. But yeah, over the last week or two or so as well, a Mexican Navy ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge. Apparently, it had a mechanical issue. The failure led to the ship drifting in a direction it was never meant to go as it backed into the Brooklyn Bridge. But here is Chuck Schumer saying it's Donald Trump's fault.
We know that the Trump administration has been meddling in U.S. Coast Guard operations, from staffing to command and comms. And I have the general sense of a Doge dysfunction in parts of the Coast Guard. To put it mildly, after being fully briefed on last night's Brooklyn Bridge accident, one thing is very clear. There are many more questions than answers. We know that there has been meddling by the Trump administration into the Coast Guard.
Oh, it just kind of repeated. So, but yeah, I mean,
why has he not been investigated yet?
I don't know.
How is that Trump's fault?
You should
What are
just
you
show that
talking
picture
about?
of him cheese on raw hamburgers and
yeah.
Like when I see this Mexican Navy ship, I'm just imagining like Captain Crunch just pirating the ship with an iPad.
Look, I mean, I feel terrible for this because people did die with this. People were up in the mast up there and they fell to their death. That's terrible. But again, no,
it's just stupid.
This has nothing to do with Donald Trump or Doge. Okay, it was a mechanical failure that caused the boat to drift the wrong direction. That's all it was. Okay.
Why were people in the crow's nest to begin with anyway?
It was supposed to be some sort of like big ceremony type thing.
It was drifting slowly.
That person who what's the word? Like they don't. Every time something goes wrong in their life, they have to blame it on something else or someone else. Like they never take accountability for anything that they do.
Yeah, or just tell the truth, even if no one's at fault.
Yeah,
or you just got to pass the buck off to somebody else because you're mad at them. You know what I mean? Like that's exactly what these people do. Like this is an unrelated matter to.
Yeah, never let a good tragedy go to waste. That's what the Democrats.
That's
believe.
for damn sure.
Damn sure. That's what happened here. I mean, we could say, Trump and Doge were making cuts to the Coast Guard. That's what did it. Just like they do with the FAA. Well, they were getting rid of, air traffic controllers because they were unqualified to be in the position they were in. Had nothing to do, but in this case, it had nothing to do with either of that. So it's like, it's just stupid.
Well, they blew up the Twin Towers, and then we got the Patriot Act.
Yeah. Kind of makes you go, yeah. They did it for why? So they could spy on the American people?
Yep.
And say we got to read for your safety.
Mm-hmm.
That's another conspiracy theory for you out there if you want that one. But for sure. This week, though, there was a single bill that passed the Senate for no tax on tips that passed 100-0, a unanimous vote. So at least we know that's not the contention in our next story about Trump's one big, beautiful bill that did finally, and Miranda said last week I should be a little patient as they work some things out, but the one big, beautiful bill passes the House of Representatives at least with a vote of 215 to 214, and the bill will now go to the Senate where it already sounds like some Republicans are refusing to vote for it if it's not amended to their liking. So we'll see what happens. But if it gets past the Senate, that sucker will go into law because Trump will definitely sign it. Yeah, we'll see what those amendments are at this point. But as of right now, the details include no tax on tips and overtime, $175 billion for deport. 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent. However, it does not currently include no tax on Social Security, and it does not reduce the national debt, supposedly. But at this point, reducing the debt will have to be done by savings in other areas with Doge and enforcing tariffs, I think, at this point. Because in order to get certain things done, you still have to spend money. Simple as that, especially like the border wall and things like that. But this bill also includes funding for the Golden Dome upgrades to the FAA, as we were just talking about a little bit. The so-called Medicaid cuts we discussed earlier. It allows Americans to buy suppressors for their firearms. It also gives tax breaks for buying an American-made car, and it will increase wages by enacting the largest tax cut in United States history by another 15%, which will equate to about $6,100 to $11,600 per worker per year. And a typical family with 2 kids will see take-home pay rise by up to $13,000 and $300. So, again, how is this bad? You can say, oh, the Medicaid cuts, but we explained earlier how that's for illegals who don't deserve it, able-bodied people who don't work, stuff like that. Again, outside of maybe raising the national debt, which about anything you do seems like does that now, what's wrong with this? Now, nothing. I will say though, I do want it to, maybe if you can amend it to where you add no tax on Social Security, but at the same time, from what I understand, the reason why that's not being included is due to the Byrd Act. That means any changes to Social Security must be in a single bill, not compiled with a bunch of other stuff. So, but with this though, they did add a $5,000 tax credit for Social Security in the big beautiful bill though, as well as the $5,000 Doge dividend checks. They're not included in this bill either, but they can still be done separately, much like no tax on Social Security. But that may or may not happen at this point right now. As of now, Doge so far savings would only equate to checks of $430 per household if the dividends were to actually pass. But either way, those two things notwithstanding, which maybe can be done separately, Democrats not voting for this obviously beneficial bill for the American people leads me to 1,000% agree with this next guy we're about to watch. But before we do that, do you guys, what are your thoughts on this bill and the Democrats voting against all this stuff that will help the American people that they claim?
But it's kind of obvious they were going to vote against it. I mean,
even two Republicans did too.
They're not for the people.
I think it's just a distraction while they're doing everything else. Honestly,
yeah,
they're keeping them busy while they're investigating and letting them fight over it.
I mean, the Democrats are defending their lies or their ignorance, one of the two, but most likely it's lies. They know that what they're saying isn't true. They just do. Yeah. I mean, it's just, but they say they want to do things for the American people, but when the opportunity comes up, now let's not do that. We got to add all this pork or some shit where we get money in our pockets. But that's not.
My end game involves the IRS not being there at all. So you throw out no tax on tips, no tax on. I don't want any of it.
I mean, I'll take that for now. But yeah, the end goal with the tariffs and Doge savings. Hopefully, I agree with Miranda. I don't want income taxes at all. I want,
and in fact, I want new currency. That way, these idiots that stole all this money can't even use it.
Yeah, I agree. But as I started to say, all this Democrats voting against this leads me to agree with this man when it comes to Democrats in general at this point.
All right, I'll do it. I'll be the one. I'm just going to go ahead and say what everybody's thinking. Democrat voters are the problem. You are the problem. You are not smart. You are not educated. You are incapable of thinking critically. You are incapable of spotting propaganda everywhere. The people that you believe on every single day are the ones who lie to you every single day, and we prove it every day. You are the problem. It's not us. It's you. You're angry. You're violent. You're radical. You're hate-filled. You're racist as hell. Some of you are commies. Some of you are just fascists.
Yeah.
Some of you are authoritarians, and some of you are just dumb, and you think that none of this actually happens. You're led around by your emotions, and those emotions make it completely impossible for actual facts, data, and the truth to break through your little haze that goes on in your world. The amount of mental illness on display from the current crop of Democrat voters is startling. We need to make asylums great again in this country. We truly do. And a lot of you need help.
Open Alcatraz.
From Hillary Clinton trafficking and classified information on her private server that was stored in somebody's bathroom, to the Russia collusion hoax, which was bought and paid for by the Hillary Clinton campaign, and you guys still don't recognize that, to the Ukraine impeachment hoax, which was bought and paid for by taxpayers through NGOs, which literally funded a coup, the second coup against the sitting president, to the Fine People's hoax, to suckers and losers, to the 2020 election, to the lead up and the following of January 6th, where you call it insurrection. Sure.
Nope.
To Biden.
Star Wars just did that.
Inflation is being transitory, even though we got 40% compounded inflation over 3.5 years, which is a direct result of the first 100 days of executive orders and then the massive monstrosity communist bills that were passed. And then we get to the Biden health cover-up, which we all knew, and you knew too. You're just untruthful. You're just liars. You all knew. I know you knew. You just can't be trusted to make decisions that are good for this country. And then we had 2 assassins cheered for it. You wanted more of them. In fact, you were going to pay people through putting money on their accounts in prison to do it. You were going to make sure that their families were supported if they did it. To this recent cancer diagnosis, and the only thing the left had to say was, leave Biden alone, it should have been Trump. You're horrible people.
Yeah.
There's nothing at all that we want to do with you. We don't. I agree. It's time for a national divorce. You guys can try to figure this out on your own. You'll fail. Look at all your states. They're all failing. People are fleeing in droves. It's because you're insufferable, and it's your fault. We blame you, and you're not going to change. We know that.
Yeah, I mean, normally, look, I try to be cordial to people on the opposite party, but when you're doing stuff like this, support stuff like this, you know better. Some people do it anyway.
Yeah.
And if you don't know better, you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. I mean, I'm not saying cut people off, but at the same time, it's like, at some point, there's nothing we can do for you anymore if you don't want to help yourself. And you're only dragging the rest of us down with you. You know, it's just sad to see. It really is. So, yeah, I don't know. But apparently, we got actually some funny and good news, in my opinion. The heads of Disney have also had enough, apparently, just like that man did. Disney, who also owns ABC, who also owns The View, has told the host to tone down their political rhetoric or face cancellation amid continuously plummeting ratings. So even the head of Disney, Bob Iger, is now telling The View, stop it, or we're going to cancel you. Bring it on.
Why don't they just cancel them?
I don't know.
That'd be great.
I think we're going down that route if they don't stop it. I mean, if they don't have to keep talking about legal notes all the time, you know, I mean, stop lying. Maybe they'd actually have good ratings, but they don't. So, yeah. Also this week, during a visit to the White House, the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, I think that's how you say his name, denied claims that a genocide of white farmers was taking place in his country. Upon hearing that denial, in yet another gangster moment, President Trump brought a television into the Oval Office in front of the South African president and showed him a video of parties in his own government calling for the genocide of white farmers. Trump also showed photographs and talked about satellite imagery he had seen of the massacre occurring there. I don't know about you, but this sounds pretty apparent about what was going on there. But here's part of the video that Trump showed the president right in front of him and his staffers.
Alliance shoot to kill Gaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer. Pa, pa.
I mean, that looks like a freaking Trump rally with all the amount of people there. That's not a fringe party, as the South African governor or president tried to say. That is a movement there, as Trump said. So, yeah, these people, they're trying to commit genocide over there. I mean, and in some cases have already succeeded. But no, it's a conspiracy theorist, according to leftist media. And I also find it kind of funny that Elon Musk, during this meeting, was staring daggers through the South African president here, because obviously Elon Musk is from South Africa. So I can only imagine what he must be thinking right about now.
Yeah.
So it's just terrible. But like I said, what did the media try to do? They tried to, cover this up like they did the Joe Biden dementia and cancer stuff. They ran headlines that claimed in unison that Trump's claims of a genocide happening in South Africa were, quote, unfounded and baseless. He's peddling conspiracy theories, they said, despite Donald Trump literally showing evidence in this meeting that it was happening. We've now learned that you can show the entire country video proof of something happening, and the media will be like, that's not happening. But even if they were conspiracy theories, they're not. But even if they were, how many have to be proven right at this point before you start believing in them?
Mm-hmm.
This is not a great defensive tactic by just saying it's unfounded
No.
and baseless claims. They even went on to say that Donald Trump ambushed the South African president.
Yeah, that's wild.
No, he was. That's not what happened. He held the South African
Eric,
president accountable.
You played it before. Remember that Army civil veteran that told about the Taliban meeting that Trump did, where he showed the satellite picture of the Taliban leader's house.
Yeah,
this gives me that kind of vibe. Because Trump,
knock it off from one. Yeah,
I noticed that Trump, the way he deals with the world's problems, is he puts it in your face,
and he puts it into the world's face in the press too. That's the only way you can do it.
He's gonna smear you, but he's gonna smear you where it hurts.
Even in this meeting, the South African president looks at Trump's like, "Well, we could talk about this behind closed doors without the press." He said without the press.
And
which
that
tells
right
you
there-
all you need to know. He just doesn't want to talk about it in front of the world to see. He knows it's happening.
Have you guys noticed
Dude.
that since Trump has been in office, that the Russia has kind of cooled off a little bit? The Thailand.
No.
Okay. Have you noticed that?
As of today, Russia said they're gonna do whatever it takes. I think.
Okay, that's not going to happen. But anyways, have you seen?
It's frustrating Trump though. That's for sure.
Have you seen? Have you noticed that these smaller countries? I'm not going to say Russia and all that. These smaller countries.
Well, some of them will fall in line. Yeah.
Iran.
Yeah.
Russia,
because the big boys are back in the house. That's what
Russia
it is.
and Ukraine, they're just gonna have to figure it out on their own because if they're gonna just do this, and it's gonna be a money thing.
There's a lot more to Ukraine.
Yeah.
So Tulsi Gabbard.
After what Ukraine's done, it's hard to view Ukraine as the good guy anymore.
Yeah, there was so many biolabs and shit in Ukraine that's
Ukraine
Russia
is
is there to
looking-
take that shit out.
Ukraine is looking like the bad guy.
Well, who looks like the bad guy right now is the South African president because no, he was not ambushed. He was being held accountable in front of the press. It's time to stop being polite and start being real. And if the press did their job, as we talked about earlier, they'd be talking about the genocide instead of trying to cover it up and blaming Trump. It's disgusting and despicable what they're doing. Again, more cover up for the media. Stop believing the bull crap. Or the sugar honey iced tea, as I mentioned it earlier. So yeah, any other thoughts on the South African president and the genocide happening there before we move on to the final tab?
No.
I'm glad he said something. Like,
yeah,
nobody else was going to.
No. Yeah, nobody else, and hopefully it'll at least shed some light on it and maybe get some things done for sure. Apparently, a liberal Palestinian sympathizer yelling "Free Palestine" murdered 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. this week. The murderer is in custody, I think. This is the reason that it is important that Trump be allowed to deport leaders of pro-terrorist protests.
Yeah.
It creates radical left-wing extremists like this murderer, but judges are currently trying to block Donald Trump from doing so. These 2 who were ruthlessly killed, Yaron and Sarah, were set to be married soon, as a matter of fact, and now their lives have been taken from them. So all of you who were so obsessed about January 6th, which, by the way, I thought was interesting on Andor, the Star Wars show. They did their own version of January 6th in that series. And it complete even with the fact that the Empire shot at the rebels of the organization first to cause them to riot, which I thought was hilarious because that's exactly what happened on January. Shot at the protesters. I thought that was hilarious that Star Wars took that route with it, but I digress.
All right.
Instigated by the left. Those of you who are still trying to bring that up, how do you defend what your party has done in just 4 months since Trump has retaken office? Since January 20th of 2025, Democrats have chanted for terrorists and defended genocide. They've blown up homes, IVF clinics, Teslas. They're executing CEOs and now Jews. Oh, and having margaritas with MS-13 gang members. And your party refuses to condemn these acts of violence. Your party is evil, and we are not the same. This is why a national divorce may be the only reason or the only way out of this. But you all want to preach to the right. That was kind of sad and down.
I
Must have
wonder
made
what
Matt-
happens
Yeah.
if a national divorce takes place and like who gets what side of the country.
They
I
can
don't know.
have Canada.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, perfect. Send it to the 51st state. We'll take the rest. Hell, they got enough land mass. They can accommodate. Yeah, I can do it.
I heard, I don't know how true it is, but I heard the other day that people in Canada's email addresses are showing a United States address.
Really? Okay. Like
Yeah.
That's
that'd be hilarious if that's the case. So, yeah. All right,
I
we're
did
almost done.
send you a short video to kind of, if you want to play it towards the end. It's for the veterans. It was on. It's
yeah,
silent.
that actually go pretty good with my wrap up, so that'll be good. All right, so before we do that, let's get into the final couple stories here. The Defense Department has officially accepted the Qatar jet that we talked about last week. It will be retrofitted into the new Air Force One. Remember how we said last week that if Trump didn't accept the Qatar plane for Air Force One, the media would then blame him for spending money on new planes from Boeing, how he couldn't win no matter what he did. Well, the media and the Democrats still tried to blame him for spending millions to retrofit the free plane from Qatar. But what the media doesn't tell you is it still saves about $1 billion to already have the plane made already. But you make
I
a
don't
new
think the
plane-
Democrats need to talk about spending money on anything.
Except
They were paying for sex
Yeah.
changes and fucking mice and shit.
Yeah, they're all for you spend when they're in office, but people spend money when they're not in office. It's all of a sudden an evil thing. Yeah, it's stupid. But you either make a new plane or accept a free one. It's always going to cost millions to retrofit it into Air Force One. So don't come at me with this bull crap. It's just ridiculous. So, but yeah, looks like we're getting a new. We'll have to wait and
It's a
see.
big ass plane, dude.
Oh, I know. Airbus for sure. This week as well, Miranda alluded to it earlier. The CDC and the FDA hid that COVID vaccine jabs cause myocarditis per the request of the Biden administration. We tried to warn you people. But yeah, as it says here, in February of 2021, federal health agencies had been alerted to large reports of myocarditis in young people who received the Pfizer vaccine, but waited until June of that year to adjust the vaccine labels to make the side effect known. Even though CDC and FDA officials were well aware of the risk of myocarditis following COVID-19 vaccination, the Biden administration opted to withhold issuing a formal warning to the public for months about the safety concerns jeopardizing Americans. So, yeah, Biden back.
And I want to reiterate that Trump, Operation Warp Speed, he authorized that, right? He authorized the scientists and the doctors to come up with a vaccine for COVID-19. A lot of people wanted to blame Trump for the vaccine. No, it's not Trump's fault that anybody died because they got this vaccine.
Yeah.
He just made it so they could do it fast. They lied about the safety of it.
Yeah.
It's not Trump's fault.
No, I'm surprised that the media didn't try to turn it on Trump more than they did. They kept trying to push that safe and effective. No, they could have just as easily turned around and said, no, he's the one killing people because the vaccines are ineffective.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that, thank God. But again, maybe they knew it's because all he really did was order it to be as fast as possible. But yeah, they could have easily spun that against him. They didn't do it. I'm actually staggered that they didn't take that approach. But it worked out for him for sure. But during an interview this week with Aaron Rodgers, Joe Rogan said this week that 470,000 people were killed by the Pfizer jab alone. Listen to this.
Sent Jamie this study. VAERS adjusted data and other derived from the MIT Florida Department of Health study findings that yield a conservative range of 470,000 to 600,000 American deaths from the COVID-19 mRNA shots.
That's it?
Just that alone. That's a lot of people, man. More than World War I, World War II, and Vietnam combined. If that's true. It indicates Pfizer. This is Pfizer alone. So this is not even Moderna.
Oh, okay.
Pfizer alone likely killed over 470,000 Americans. They found a 36% increase in all-cause mortality among Pfizer recipients versus Moderna.
Yeah, but they saved millions.
Yeah, I keep hearing that.
Yeah, I keep hearing that too, Aaron.
Makes me sick to know that was made in Bloomington.
Yeah. Yeah. By a company that used to be for the company we work for, but was bought out by another company. So yeah, it's just sad to hear. But this is why I tend to agree with Rogers on a lot of things, but maybe not so much as football stuff. But yeah, this sort of thing. I didn't agree with him lying about, being, jabbed when he wasn't to play football. Again, kind of a wrong football stuff. But at the same time, yeah, he was on the whole vaccine stuff from the
At the
jump.
same time, it was none of their business, and they shouldn't have pushed it on him.
Yeah,
Did you hear the part about he was trying to tell Joe Rogan about Ellen's set?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I'll just explain it real quick. Jeffrey Epstein had this temple with the blue and white stripes. Now, if you look at Ellen DeGeneres' old TV set, she's got the same color building. It looks almost identical with slight changes.
Right.
So Aaron is trying to get Joe to see the resemblance, trying to be like, yeah, Ellen's kind of involved with this too. And I believe wholeheartedly she is.
Oh,
with
I don't
Epstein.
doubt it. Maybe that's why she's one of those that fled the country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Convenient. Tulsi Gabbard also this week announced that there's declassified documents from the Biden administration that show average everyday people were put on domestic terrorist watch lists for not following the COVID vaccine narrative that spoke out against mask mandates, the vaccines of efficacy, etc. Listen to this.
Done here, what was done under the Biden administration. Was it they were saying that everyone who opposed, say, mask mandates or the vaccination of children are domestic violent extremists? Or were they saying that those are opinions often held by domestic violent extremists?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. That when you look at the language of these documents that I've declassified, first, the strategic implementation plan of the Biden administration's designation of potential violent domestic extremists, it really talks about people who may likely turn out to be domestic violent extremists, or those who may likely turn to violence because of these specific quote unquote ideologies that they hold. And there's a consistent thread through here that these ideologies that they are designating as turning into potentially violent activities or being manifested in violent activities happen to be those of people who were using their First Amendment rights to oppose certain policies of the Biden administration. And while some of the examples that are focused on there have to do with those who opposed the COVID vaccine mandates, those who opposed the mask mandates, parents who were concerned that their children going to school may be forcibly vaccinated with the COVID vaccine without the consent or awareness of parents. The list.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys are worried about Trump being the authoritarian dictator, huh? People who truly believe that are ass backwards, 100%. I mean, this is the Biden administration because you didn't want to take an experimental drug that was not completely tested for all these, and they withheld information about side effects. And it's killing hundreds of thousands of Americans now. No, we were the ones who were domestic terrorists. F Joe Biden. Look, I'm trying to be a human about his cancer diagnosis, but it's hard when you hear stories like this. It absolutely is. This is not how you treat other human beings. Oh, she's muted. I don't know if she knows that, but she may be talking to somebody. But anywho, yeah, shit. Yeah, there you go.
I was talking to you.
Okay, go ahead.
I said I was going to put that on my shirt for tomorrow, but I decided not to.
I got you.
Let's
Well,
go, Brandon. Fuck Joe Biden.
Yeah. Hey, the F Joe Biden chant started at a race. It was a NASCAR race.
Yeah, if it was NASCAR,
exactly.
I probably would.
So yeah, I'd be down for it, no doubt. Okay, last couple things here. The Trump announced officially this week that he plans to build a golden dome over America, and Canada wants in as well, believe it or not. And he wants it built and completed before the end of his term. So just to kind of go over this a little bit, President Trump announced a game-changing $175 billion Golden Dome missile defense system, which is in the big, beautiful bill funding. For the first time, America will have Ronald Reagan's dream, a complete defense against nuclear attack. The truth that they don't want you to know, Pentagon has been warning us for years that China and Russia's missiles are too advanced for our current defenses. And so, yeah, but Trump is trying to change that. His plan is based on Israel's amazing Iron Dome, but it's even more advanced than that. This isn't just land-based defense. We're talking thousands of satellites in space ready to shoot down missiles moments after launch. So Space Force is about to get very, very real for those of you who like to mock it. There will be defenses against 4 stages of enemy missiles in their flight. If something gets through the first wave, we get 3 more shots at deflecting these missiles with the very best tech on or off of Earth. So I guarantee you Elon Musk and SpaceX are going to be heavily involved with this. No doubt about it. So my question with that is, what was protecting America all this time? But this sounds like a great idea. It's definitely saved Israel countless times. And anybody who wants to attack America is going to have to think twice if this gets implemented in the next 3 years. So thoughts on the Golden Dome?
Hey,
I still want a northern wall. There
That
are
too.
polar bears up there, and I think they need to stay up there.
Well, that
Brandon,
seems like well, that
video of a polar bear in a neighborhood. It was next to a car. When I
Yeah.
tell you, this thing could have beat this car up. It was massive.
I believe it.
You can keep it.
Yeah.
You never seen one in real life? Did you ever go to the Indianapolis Zoo when they had it?
Yeah, I saw one. I
Oh, okay.
don't want to see it again.
I was gonna say they're huge, dude. I wish they wouldn't get rid of those at the Indianapolis Zoo, but anyway.
Fuck out of here. Like
I hear it.
grizzly bears
All
are
right,
big.
Anaya wants to say hi to one of our loyal listeners. So come here,
Okay.
Anaya.
Okay, hopefully they're still here.
Hi.
Hello,
Who are
hello.
you saying hi to? Grandma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Say that.
she's watching. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Sure, she appreciate that shout out. That's awesome, no doubt about it. But no wonder that Donald Trump is fast tracking his nuclear power plant deals, eh? Because that's going to probably need a lot to do with this. So it's all part of the plan to make America safer, guys. My question is, again, what has our current defensive been? What are we going to do if we get shot at now? I mean, I thought we had missile defense systems already, but maybe we do. Maybe they're just not this advanced.
Yeah.
But
Well, no. We've got some advanced shit. And General, I'm going to say his name wrong. He was just on the Sean Ryan show. He's been on Badlands. He does a lot of interviews. He's the one that I was talking, or I sent, talking about the free energy.
Oh, okay.
So this past week, he was on Sean Ryan talking about nuclear devices, like miniature that you could have that would be free energy. Like it would power everything.
Nice.
So the kind of stuff that's coming is just crazy.
Well, that again, nuclear power is a good thing as long as it's, you take care of it and it doesn't get, so it's clean too, by the way. So
yes,
all you people, climate activists out there should be thrilled with this announcement that Trump's going to, I think, what was it, 3 new nuclear power plants the next
They won't
year or
be
something like that.
because he's the one who said it.
I know, and it's stupid. But again, if you stick to what you believed in, supposedly, that you
Well-
chant and preach and protest with, you should like a lot of things.
And it's just like plastic. Plastic is so harmful. Ziploc is being sued because of the microplastics that leach into the food out of their products.
Yeah.
That shit, among other places, settles in your balls, your brain. It's hard as hell to get rid of. Like, so if we started using hemp, for one, that shit grows 4 months, your crop is ready. You
Yeah.
can make so much better product out of it. But it doesn't make them money because it doesn't need oil. So that's why they've suppressed all of this stuff, because they want the oil money. They want their greedy.
Oh yeah,
bastards.
it's all about backdoor politics and stuff too. They just they're not, again, they don't care about you. Trump is actually trying to do stuff for the American people to keep us safe, to give us more money in our pockets, to help us live. These politicians that aren't helping him and are opposing him right now, including Republicans, are doing so because they only care about themselves. Simple as that. So yeah, last but not least, well, I guess kind of least in my opinion, next week marks the beginning of June. So you know what that means. And people are sick of it, including this guy, which I thought was hilarious. So I thought I'd play this for you. Here you go.
The visibility and the 50+ holidays they all get. It's like 3 months. Bro, I'm fucking tired of it. And so is everybody else. We get it forced down our throat in every single fucking direction we look. Y'all don't need any more visibility. You need to shut the fuck up. That's what you need to do. You need to shut the fuck up and people will leave you the fuck alone. Stay away from kids. People will leave you alone. Jamming your shit down everybody's throat at every point is only going to create more problems for you. You're not going to be left alone or live in harmony or be respected or be treated with dignity because you're not treating anybody else with respect and dignity. You're not respecting anybody else's viewpoints. If they don't like it, they're a racist, they're a bigot, they're a this, they're a that. How about this? Fuck off.
So, I mean, blunt to the point. But did you know that the LGBTQ community has upwards of 28 holidays throughout the course of about a single year? Bottom line, you do not need that many holidays or a whole month. If you want one day, fine. I guess we can give that to you. Fine. But you know who else gets one day? Veterans only get one day. They don't get a whole month. This is Memorial Day weekend. Soldiers who lost their lives get one day. Mothers get one day. Fathers get one day. A whole month and more throughout the year, which is like, I think it's like somewhere like 100 plus days or 150 plus days a year are celebrated for the LGBTQ community. At this, go ahead.
And I really don't care who you're happy with. If you're happy, cool. Like you should be able to be happy with a partner. But to shove it down my throat that you are with the same sex or you feel like you're the different sex, like, why is that my problem?
We don't care.
If you're happy and you're fine.
You do you, boo-boo. I definitely don't agree with it. I'm not going to treat you bad
like,
because you do it. If you treat me with respect, I'll do the same to you.
I don't go around telling you that I'm straight and I have I sleep with my husband. Cool.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't care
why
about
do
that.
I have
So
to
why would-
care who you sleep with?
It's because they want to put it in people's face and change the culture to it. But here's the thing. You're no longer oppressed or marginalized. You're beyond privileged at this point with that many holidays. And I believe I speak for everyone on this show. No one cares what, like Miranda says, what you do in your bedroom. We don't. We don't care.
As long as it's not with fucking children, like, cool, whatever.
And with Trump in office, maybe it won't be as celebrated, especially in the federal government, as much as it once was. But I fully expect all the flags to come out. And we're absolutely, I know I'll speak for myself. I'm absolutely for Trump signing an executive order to abolish and replace Pride Month with Veterans Month. You down for that?
Oh, that'd be good.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, it's long past time, in my opinion, that we honor our living and retired soldiers, especially coming off the heels of the time of the year where we honor those who didn't make it home. The price for American freedom isn't free. The cost is extremely high. So as you enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend, remember those who made it possible for all of us thanks to their sacrifice and came home in boxes instead.
And before we end it, remember all the ones that lost their lives by trying to get this stuff out earlier. There's been a lot. Seth Rich, one of them we talked about last week. They might not have been actual soldiers, but in some kind of way they were.
Yeah, exactly.
Soldiers for the truth.
Did you send that video to Twitter or no?
Yeah, it was Twitter. It was from a Twitter.
Okay, I'll try to grab that real quick. Like you said, it was a nice little bookend to that there. So we'll add that. Let's see, what is this? Oh, Marine Corps. Okay, well, let's check this out real quick. Miranda sent us a video here to kind of wrap up with the American motif for the Memorial Day weekend here. We'll add this real quick and we'll check this out and we'll end the show for this week. Oh, Times Square? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I always found this really fucking cool.
I know, right? I'll tell you right now, if you ever get a chance to go to Washington, D.C. and visit the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and watch the changing of the guard, absolutely incredible. I
stood honored guard when I was with the fire department for a little boy's funeral.
Oh, wow.
It was probably the hardest thing I have ever done.
Yeah. Or like the video at the beginning of the show where we did the montage for the Memorial Day. There was that young boy who got handed a folded flag for his father. That breaks me every time.
Yeah.
A discipline it must take to do
this.
And not get stabbed with a guy standing right next to you. The trust you gotta have.
Yeah.
You know?
Clean too, buddy. Clean.
Yeah, clean. Yeah, pristine.
Every emotion.
And you're going to see a lot of this at the race tomorrow too. They'll bring because it's Memorial Weekend every time, so they do a lot of stuff for the troops and the country and stuff like that. Too.
Like that shit. Like this, the discipline it takes, you know, I wish in some aspects, I wish I would have really pushed for it myself to go, to enlist when I should have. But like the discipline it takes to do this, I don't know if I had it in me at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
So CanCon, Brandon, you know who I'm talking about when I'm talking about CanCon. He was a Marine, and he talked about a story today where I can't remember what it's called, but basically every 25 minutes he was shitting his brains out. He was in Afghanistan, and every time they ate Afghani food, they would get deathly sick. Well, not deathly, but feel like they were going to die. Well, he did this one night and spent the next 6 hours in the morning in a firefight with, you know, he was in Afghanistan. It's like he felt horrible.
Upset stomach and all, and you still got to do what you got to do.
And he should have.
Die. Yeah.
Yeah, and he shit himself on the way to the bathroom because it's like uncontrollable, kind of like the Mexican when you drink the water type.
Shoot,
it's
I've
bad
been
over there.
on the battlefield with people shooting at me.
Yeah,
yeah.
Let's be
But,
flat out
yeah.
honest. I mean, the stuff that these people
like part of me wishes, like I said, that I had the discipline back then to actually, you know, enlist and go through it all. Like I took the ASVAB and all that shit.
I probably
And I
wouldn't
know
have
what I wanted to be. I know what I wanted to go for. But my hat's off to everybody who, I mean, I have uncles who served. I have friends who served. I have a buddy now who just came home.
Sad to serve.
Like, he served. My hat's off to all you guys.
Yeah,
seriously,
we appreciate everything you do, and still a couple of days in the weekend to honor those soldiers. Obviously, Memorial Day, so they only get one day, like I mentioned, on Memorial Day on Monday. But and we do kind of celebrate it all weekend long. But again, just to reiterate, I mean, you want to be gay, lesbian, whatever you want to do, you do you. But when you get to a point where you're trying to make us have to change the way we live and believe to suit you, it's no longer a freedom. You're trying to push it on others. And that's where I have a problem with it. I'll show you respect. Like I said, you show me respect, I'll do the same to you. But you do not. I don't care who you are. You don't need a month, a whole month. Hell, you don't need 100+ days a year. Nobody, no. If anybody does, the veterans, who's lived and died. Hell, even Jesus Christ gets 2 days a year. Well, I guess if you get Easter and Christmas, if you want to talk about, like I guess Passover and all that stuff, that's whatever. But he don't get a month. It's like, what are we doing? Okay. So I know some of those people probably don't believe in him anyway, but that's beside the point. So, but anyway, we'll wrap up the show with this. One last comment from Aaron before we get out here. Brandon brags about sleeping with you all the time, Miranda. But you're talking about. So anyway, we'll let it on a little bit of a laugh.
Why y'all?
That's messed up, bro. But
and anyway. I do not. Sleep with her all the time. That's great. Let alone brag about it.
Anyway, let's move on. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks you guys so much for watching. Hopefully we get out here a little bit early enough so everybody gets some sleep for the race tomorrow. But we'll be back next week for a show before we probably go on a little bit of a break. But at the same time, it'll be fun to see. Aaron said he lies. But anyway, we're going to get out of here, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube.
Aaron, I've heard your stories too.
Yeah,
wow.
All right, guys. Take care. As always,
good night, guys. Be safe this weekend.
Happy Memorial Day, guys.
Yep. Happy Memorial Day.